PG&E by the end of 2022 are expected to be safe and grandfathered into the current NEM 2.0 program, which currently have the most favorable economics the solar industry has experienced. So right now, payback terms typically are 2 to 3 years for solar investments, especially in taking into account some of the tax benefits that come with doing solar. The expectation, again, all of this is not finalized yet, but the expectation is that this number could easily triple in time frame with the proposed change.
Matt, if a business owner wants to find out more information about Pickett Solar, what's best?
I want to reiterate, the time is now. There is a very unique window of opportunity. It's not if NEM 3.0, but when and what it will look like when it does go into place. Reach out to us. We'll do a free cost-saving analysis. Go to PickettSolar.com or give us a call here locally at 559-431-3535. And let us show you the financials and see if it's a good fit for you. And, hey, take advantage of this increase in the federal investment tax credit while you're at it.
For more information, go to PickettSolar.com.
Sun facts.
Did you know that California raises their utility rates 5 times more often than any other state?
That's why I've chosen to live off-grid.
Like you have a choice, son. Call Solar Negotiators today at 844-OWN-SOLAR.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. News Talk 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
Sunny and 84 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. The January 6th committee taking an unprecedented action to subpoena former President Donald Trump to testify under oath.
The clerk will report the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, there are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
The resolution is agreed to.
Committee Chairman Benny Thompson explaining why they felt the action necessary.
He is the one person at the center of the story of what happened on January 6th. So we want to hear from him.
The U.S. Supreme Court dealing a setback for the former president today. Here's ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Without comment, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected former President Trump's request to intervene in his dispute with the Justice Department over classified materials taken from his Florida home. Trump had asked the Supreme Court to overturn a lower court ruling that removed about 100 documents with classification markings from the purview of the independent arbiter who's been appointed to review the seized materials. The special master review continues only now with non-classified documents.
A boy is still missing out of Fresno. Police are now looking for leads in other cities. 11-year-old Elias Lugo was last seen around 3:30 Monday afternoon, walking from his home on North Roosevelt near Palm and Belmont. He may have been spotted yesterday in Merced. Police are also reaching out to his mother, who lives in Visalia. We have this photo on our website. If you see him, call Fresno Police. Friends and family gather to pray for and remember the life of 22-year-old Selma woman Julissa Fuentes after her car and remains were found earlier this week after a 2-month-long search.
Hundreds of candlelights lit up in Selma to remember Julissa Fuentes Wednesday night.
Father God, I come to you right now in the name of Jesus, Father God.
And celebrated 22 years of life as Fuentes' spirit lives on forever in heaven.
Julissa, I love you. I love you.
Loved ones and even complete strangers showed up to remember Fuentes.
I'm gonna miss her forever. She taught me a lot.
They'll miss her smiles, her laugh, and her charm, but she'll never be forgotten.
She'll still be in our heart.
And that was Fox 26 News reporter Myra Franco. A South Valley man is taken into custody for allegedly ripping off a cemetery in Visalia.
Back in August, as many as 9 service medallions were stolen from markers within the cemetery at Visalia. One honored Tulare County Sheriff's Deputy Scott Ballantyne, who died in a plane crash, and another belonged to Stephen Morgan. He spent 20 years in the U.S. Navy and retired in 2009. He passed away 3 years later at the age of 40. Earlier this month, investigators learned 37-year-old Eleazar Huerta was in possession of several of the stolen medallions and issued a warrant for his arrest. Tuesday, the Visalia man was found and taken into custody. Huerta is now charged with possession of stolen property and vandalism. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
The California Farm Bureau Federation reporting that blueberry popularity is on the rise. Here's KMJ's Ron McCary.
The demand for blueberries is growing around the world. According to Rabo Research Food and Agribusiness, blueberry consumption is expected to keep on increasing. The U.S., European Union, and the United Kingdom are the hottest global markets. Blueberry plantings in California have totaled between 8,700 and 9,100 acres in recent years, compared to 5,900 acres in 2012. Ron McCary, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow gained 827 points. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Thursday forecast.
Unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Afternoon highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. Closer to normal temps are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. On the roadways, one major problem, and that's in Porterville, North Newcomb Street at West Olive. We got an injury accident. Lots of emergency personnel on the scene, so it's being advised that you avoid the area for a while they get things cleaned up. Our next update, 2:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
COIN, COIN, coin,
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25 grand. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
How do you make the most of your land? Everyone has their way, and this is how the Allens do it, with the help of their John Deere compact tractor.
We grow tulips, peonies, and 7,000 dahlias.
Over 9 acres.
They're a labor of love.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Stop by one of our Lawrence Tractors locations in Visalia, Timpton, or Hanford, or visit us online at lawrencetractor.com.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
The Big Fresno Fair is back, October 5th through the 16th, with your favorite fair food carnival rides, live horse racing, and the Table Mountain Concert Series presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota. Buy early and save big. See all the ways to save at FresnoFair.com.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria. From AM Radio 580 to the internet, KMJNow.com. From Warren G. Harding to Let's Go Brandon. From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., it's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip. 100 years of KMJ. News, talk, radio.
2:08 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858 and toll-free 800-776-5858. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you can follow the show at Drive KMJ. And if you like to watch, we're on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join Skip Echeverria back in the KMJ studios.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is a weekday, and it's somewhere between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., which means that we have a new national keyword for the 25K payoff, which is brought to you locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. You text the national keyword to 95819. If you're lucky, you win $100. And if you do, you're in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. You can get all the details. The rules are up at KMJNow.com. But if you want to play, we ask that you not text and drive, but when you're safely parked, send the national keyword to 95819. Skip, what is the keyword this hour?
It is coin, COIN, coin.
Easy enough. Text coin to 95819. We got a lot coming up today. The J6 panel has voted to subpoena the 45th President of the United States. The Parkland shooter sentence handed down and very clearly extremely dissatisfying to the families of his victims. And the Attorney General is now stepping into the fracas on the Los Angeles City Council, specifically looking at the redistricting that took place last year, following a lot of conversation about how people might get frozen out for, being with the blacks. So we'll get into all of that. But we do have a new buzz question at kmjnow.com. It's brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center. Today, we are asking, does the city of Fresno need more traffic enforcement? You can let us know what you think at kmjnow.com. Again, it's sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center. Skip, do we need more traffic enforcement in our little city?
Does that mean like more motorcycle cops?
I would think more motorcycle cops. I would think more single officer cruisers just looking for folks not doing the right thing in traffic.
I would think I don't know if we need more people or just strategic placement at school zones before and after school, and give me some more DUI checkpoints. But other than that, I don't know, man. I pass a lot of them. They're hidden sometimes. You got to look.
Yeah, they do like to hide along Shaw, don't they?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, more. Get them out there in force. Slow traffic with the sheer volume of law enforcement vehicles on the road. The sooner that we can get people to realize that the lights and signs and stripes on the road have meaning, the sooner that we can just live our lives in something resembling peace.
Okay, thank you for bringing me back to reality, because that reminds me of the million times I've almost been run over by people running red lights, just flat out red lights.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. In the middle of the day, you could see the lights. And the other thing, why are people so touchy with the horn? I had somebody blast on the horn because they wanted me to turn right on a red light. There were cars coming.
Yeah.
What was I supposed to do?
See, and I'm not bothered by people hitting the horn because I grew up with the horn was just how you communicated in traffic.
I take it personally.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, if you're some knucklehead who's beating on your horn because you want somebody to endanger their life or the lives of others, because if you don't get through this particular intersection as quickly as humanly possible, you're going to wet your knickers, you're a moron and everybody knows it. But if somebody's doing something stupid or unsafe, if somebody's cut you off, which seems to be a recreational activity on some of the major thoroughfares in Fresno, yeah, lay on it. Go for it. I'm right there with you. And thank you to the guy who will almost inevitably honk shaving a haircut if you hit your horn prematurely at a red light that's about to turn green. Yes, we need more traffic enforcement. I agree with you. School zones especially. If you're speeding in a school zone, if you're doing stupid things in the illegal turns, you deserve a great big fat ticket. The other thing, I've got it's not a main artery. It's a residential road that happens to cut through most of my neighborhood, and it's like a block away from me. So I'm not really affected by it, but I have noticed that in this residential street where the speed limit is 25 miles an hour, because it is a long, flat, straight, good visibility strip of road in daylight, people think it's okay to go 60.
Yeah. Okay, so question. Would you be okay with a tattletale line? Like where somebody could turn you in for speeding or a little bit of
tattletale line. I'd be good with people using neon orange paintball markers.
Okay, so a little bit of
folks know where the bad drivers are.
A little bit of community policing.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wonder about that sometimes. I don't like the whole Big Brother idea, but I do think that sometimes people will just act foolish because they know there's not enough cops on the road to be able to keep them all in check.
Well, and that's where I go back to, let's put the cops on the road, let's do this right, and let's just jam people up for being stupid. And if it just so happens that your registration's expired and you don't have insurance and you've got a warrant out, don't scream racism. You were driving like a moron, your car was out of code, and you had a warrant. Just put your hands up, apologize, and wait for your free ride downtown. Okay. If you want to get in on the buzz question, again, you can go to kmjnow.com and let us know how you feel about it. Today, from National today.com. They claim it's International Skeptics Day.
That's like every day for some people. What are we being skeptical of?
Well, they invite you to be skeptical of anything because there is apparently no basis in reality, in tradition, in history, or in congressional or presidential decree for today to be International Skeptics Day, which makes me think that perhaps somebody just arbitrarily said so.
Yeah. Yeah, I love some of these like daily holidays. Like I'm a fan of like National Donut Day or those kind of things. But when it comes to this, like I think you should always question some of your your beliefs and your values to see if they're still in line, to see if things are still working for you and, you know, whatever year you're in. I think it's also important to question some of those assumptions and beliefs that we just accept as fact or willy-nilly. I was talking actually to my students about this yesterday. Like some beliefs on where we believe is safe, right? Or what are safe activities versus like safe parts of town. Yeah. We were joking like a lot of Fresno's never made it past south of Shaw, right?
True enough, yeah.
And why? Have you had a problem? No. Well, have you heard of one? Maybe. But the assumption is, right, based on that stuff.
So it is International Skeptics Day for no apparent reason whatsoever, and not nearly as fun as the Epicurean tradition against which it is stacked, along with Stoicism and cynicism, which, as far as I can tell, are basically just skepticism dressed up in toxic masculinity.
Hey, but wait a second. They're talking about how to observe International Skeptics Day.
Uh-huh.
Couple of ways. Question something you take for granted.
Uh-huh.
All I'm saying is we are very happy to have hot showers again. Took them for granted for a while,
finally.
but finally it got fixed. Appreciate you, Juan. Thank you for fixing it. But took them for granted. You don't realize it till it happens. You could read some Greek philosophy, or you can play devil's advocate, which I've been accused of in some of the fan mail that we've gotten through here. I think the quote was, under what rock did they grab her to come on air and be devil's advocate?
Interesting turn of phrase.
So anyway, those are the ways that you can play devil's advocate.
You could watch the devil's advocate.
I remember seeing that in theaters with a bunch of teenage friends. Probably
you weren't old enough for that.
No, they just let us in. I think we were on an FFA leadership trip, if I'm being absolutely honest.
Well, what's a little Satanism and nudity amongst friends?
Well, don't tell the advisors.
All right. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. When we get back, we're going to talk about the verdict out of Broward County, Florida. Nicholas Cruz learning the broad strokes of what his foreseeable future looks like. And that $25K payoff national keyword that just went into play at the top of the hour, COIN, COIN, COIN. Text it to 95819. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Good luck.
On the roadways of Fresno, eastbound 180 at Chestnut, we got a report of a fire and a bunch of smoke on the right-hand shoulder there. West Stewart Avenue near Colonial, a hazard being caused by the roadway narrowing and cars are having a hard time getting through there. In Porterville, North Newcomb Street at West Olive, they're still dealing with an injury accident. Our next update is at 2:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. No job is too big or too small for Roto-Rooter. Dripping faucet, full sewer line replacement, or maybe your water heater no longer makes hot water. Roto-Rooter has you covered. They even do trenchless repairs that won't destroy your landscape. Call 1-800-GET-ROTO, online at rotorooterca.com.
This is former Superintendent of Clovis Unified, Terry Bradley. I am asking you to vote for Samantha Bauer for the Clovis Unified School Board. Clovis Unified is one of the best school districts in California. What makes Clovis Unified successful? It's a school board that is dedicated to our community and our traditions. It's parents like Samantha Bauer that run for our school board, not to be a politician, but a voice for students, teachers, support, administrative staff, and parents. Let's keep Clovis Unified great. Vote for Samantha Bauer for Clovis Unified School Board.
I'm Samantha Bauer, candidate for Clovis Unified School Board. As a parent of 2 Clovis Unified students, I will make sure that every parent has a voice in our schools. I have volunteered in Clovis schools for 15 years, and I believe we need to get back to basics. We need to focus on student learning and making sure our kids have what they need to succeed. And as a business owner, I will make sure our kids are back on track and set up for success. I'm Samantha Bauer. Thank you for your vote. Let's get back to basics. Paid for by Samantha Bauer for CUSD Trustee 2022.
Open enrollment is fast approaching, and Sante Physicians will be hosting our second annual Medicare Health Fair on Monday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our Palm location. Learn more about Medicare plans, all the while enjoying complimentary food trucks and live entertainment featuring the king himself, Jeremy Elvis Pierce. For more info, visit SantePhysicians.com. We hope to see you for the fun and valuable information. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Come back to the ultimate rock Christmas tradition. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. December 1st, Save Mart Center. Millions have made this their must-see holiday event of the season. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestras, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO, and more.
Buildings Unlimited will be celebrating 20 years serving Central California and the West Side. Buildings Unlimited, specializing in concrete tilt warehousing, cold storage, processing facilities, and commercial pre-engineered metal buildings. Buildings Unlimited is your single point of contact from design to the completion, proudly featuring new core steel, manufactured in the USA. Buildings Unlimited, where the only limit is your imagination. Call our experienced team for a free consultation at 559-485-9948 or visit us at buildingsunlimited.net.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
The ag industry is built on trust and relationships. John York, KMJ Ag Director, sharing details about the Ag Center. The Ag Center was founded by farmers for farmers with the principle of no growers left behind. The Ag Center's mission is to connect with farmers of all sizes, bringing the best resources the industry offers. From field services to ag tech, even innovative products and consulting, the Ag Center has you covered. Call or visit the website at agcenter.com to connect and grow.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. Your keyword this hour is coin, C-O-I-N, coin. Text that to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff, sponsored by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Details at kmjnow.com. Congratulations to John Harshman of Auberry, our latest qualifier in that. We'll add your name to the list if you're so lucky. Once again, the word is coin. All right, we're going down to Florida, where I don't know that we would say justice is served. Depends on where you stand on it. Some disappointment, a lot of disappointment coming out of Broward County and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as the jury has come up with their recommendation in the sentencing of Nicholas Cruz for the massacre in Parkland.
The very short version of this is Nicholas Cruz has dodged the death penalty. He's looking at a sentence of life in prison. The jury considered 17 counts for the 17 victims, all of which he pled guilty to. There was never a question of guilt.
Yeah, at least one juror found that the mitigating factors outweighed the aggravating factors laid forth by the state, meaning that the judge just cannot sentence Cruz to death at this point. Obviously, family members reacting with looks of disgust and disapproval as these recommendations were read in the courtroom.
So Chris Hickson's kids. Chris Hickson was the athletic director at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, and he was killed in this shooting as well. His kids walked out as that. Does the jury find that the mitigating factors outweigh the, so on and so forth? Basically, the turn of phrase that indicated that Cruz would not be put to death. And they got up, they walked out. The body language, the facial expressions, disgust manifest. And what they talked about, and the son in particular, 17 people were murdered by this guy. Why the hell do we have a death penalty if not for somebody like this? Because one person's personal belief is that it wasn't right?
Well, and that's the part where I struggle with this, because while I do think if you're going to take the death penalty seriously, right, like we need to understand that that's serious, right? Here is somebody who admitted to it. And we're talking about 17 dead people. Now, the mitigating factors that the defense was able to bring forward, which outweighed all of the aggravating factors. There were 41 possible mitigating circumstances. We don't know which ones this juror or jurors looked at, because I think you had to go across the board. All 17 victims, right, had to the recommendation had to be death penalty. The defense offered Cruz was exposed to alcohol, drugs, and nicotine in utero, that he has a, quote, neurodevelopmental disorder associated with prenatal alcohol exposure, and that his adoptive mother did not follow the recommendations of medical and mental health suggestions and educational providers.
None of that's satisfying. None of that makes the difference. This guy knowing that it was wrong, knowing that it was unlawful, intending to do harm, not just to do harm, but to do lasting, indelible, psychologically traumatic harm to everybody who was a witness to his taking these lives. I'm sorry, but my mom was bad at being a mom, and I've got fetal alcohol syndrome. The purpose of prison, really the penitentiary, is penitence. It is supposed to be rehabilitation with the anticipation of reintroduction to society at some point. This person is not ever going to be released, and instead the taxpayers are going to spend money on special housing and probably special diet, because if he's that much of a snowflake, God knows he's going to come up with some gluten-free nonsense while he's sitting in his cell.
The defense would agree with you, though, on him being totally jacked up, although they put it a little differently. They said Cruz is a brain-damaged, broken, mentally ill person through no fault of his own. They claimed that Cruz's mother, again, used while pregnant, and that he was poisoned. And, quote, in a civilized humane society, do we kill brain-damaged, mentally ill, broken people? That was a question they asked.
Yes.
When they kill 17 other people.
We aren't talking about a guy who sits in the county park making crowns out of dandelions.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a guy who sits in the corner of his room and rocks and weeps. We're not talking about somebody who, I don't know, produces a fashion line with a White Lives Matter sweatshirt and then talks about how he hates Jews on a nationally syndicated television program. This guy murdered 17 people. We don't need you in the world anymore.
Well, and that's what the prosecutors were hoping to get through to the jury. They argued that Cruz's decision to commit the shooting was deliberate and carefully planned. Even so, it would have taken all jurors to agree that the aggravating factors outweighed the mitigating circumstance, and they didn't. And because of that, even if it was just one juror on one of the 17 times that they needed to vote, beyond a reasonable doubt that the killing involved at least one aggravated circumstance, somebody didn't. And we won't find out unless we have a juror who comes out and admits that it was them.
I think it will be. I think that it was one person, and I think that they will come out and talk about it because I think that they think they're going to go get a book deal off of this.
So there was a part of me that was wondering about that too. Is there the possibility of positioning this for all of those interviews afterwards, right? Because some people are willing to be the heel, if you will, if it means they get the attention. I think when you sit down, because I was called to a jury, I didn't make it very far in the process, but I was called in for a death penalty case. And one of the questions asked was, could you could you vote on the death penalty? Like, is that so? Or if you're morally opposed to it, then you better let us know, right? Because that needs to be something that's up there, if I remember correctly.
But unfortunately, there are people who think that the fact of their moral opposition entitles them to lie about said opposition in order to be the wrench in the machine. I just don't believe that any reasonable person acting in good faith looks at the crimes of Nicholas Cruz and says, yeah, the taxpayers should be picking up the tab for his Nutriloaf for the next 60 years.
Yeah. So he's going to be sentenced to life in prison. I've not seen, is it life without parole? They've recommended life in prison. I assume there's not going to be any parole here.
Yeah, at this point, it appears the jury has recommended life without parole, which is what the judge will have to lay down because she's bound from the death sentence at this point because of one moron.
We think one. I wonder if there's going to be more than one. I mean, it's Florida, so I would have thought they would have been weighing pretty heavily in this. Like, you're in your own backyard for this, for 17 people dead.
I cannot wrap my head around what makes a person think that Nicholas Cruz needs to continue to draw breath.
It's time for news right now with Liz Kern on KMJ.
KMJ News now.
The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol holding its final public hearing today. Cassidy Hutchison, an aide to Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, tells the committee what former President Donald Trump said in the days after the Supreme Court rejected to take up his case to overturn the 2020 election.
Raging about the decision and how it's wrong and why didn't we make more calls and just his typical anger outburst at this decision. And the president said he had said something to the effect of, I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out. I don't want people to know that we lost.
The January 6th committee voting to subpoena former President Donald Trump to testify under oath. President Biden speaking to supporters today, urging them to vote in November to keep Democrats in control of Congress. ABC's Andy Field has more.
President Biden telling a D.C. teachers rally that Republican Kevin McCarthy left a lot out of his commitment to America's speech promise.
We didn't hear him mention the right to choose. We didn't hear him mention Medicare. We didn't hear him mention Social Security.
McCarthy not mentioning that some of his members plan to ban abortion or cut senior retirement programs, but saying they will add police officers and cut IRS agents and federal regulations if they win the midterms. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Singer Brandy has a message for fans after she's hospitalized in Los Angeles. The star addressing her followers on Instagram after news broke yesterday that she suffered a possible seizure at her LA home. She writes, quote, I am following doctor's orders and getting the rest I need due to dehydration and low amounts of nutrition. TMZ, the first to report the 43-year-old was hospitalized. On Wall Street, the Dow ended the day gaining 827 points, closing at 30,038. The S&P 500 gained 92 points. NASDAQ added 232 points. 2:33 at KMJ. Valley weather right now. Sunny, 85 right now at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Thursday forecast.
Closer to normal temperatures are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. As for this afternoon, unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thanks, Liz. Got a report of a fire eastbound 180 at Chestnut. It's on the right-hand shoulder. And also on West California at South Cornelia, got a traffic hazard. No details on what the hazard is, but that's an area you may want to avoid. Next update, 2:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. MVP's Pro Rewards members visit Lowe's now and earn bonus points on products and brands like DeWalt. Then redeem for Lowe's e-gift cards and more. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees. After applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. Visit Lowes.com/MVP bonus points for details. Now through 10/28.
Now, the API Liberty Minute from the American Principles Institute.
This year, KMJ is celebrating 100 years of broadcasting in the Valley. I remember growing up listening to KMJ as I drove around the family farm with my dad as a young kid. I was a Rush baby, learning much about politics and life from the man behind the excellence in broadcasting microphone. It was through KMJ's conservative radio and the wisdom of my father that I came to love America, the founders, and the principles our country was founded upon. When I went off to college, I would spend my morning drive with KMJ News and lunch breaks listening to the Ray Appleton Show. I loved hearing about local politics, or that many times he had my favorite conservative, Victor Davis Hanson, as a guest. When I started the Summer Conservatives as a student, KMJ was with me from the start, with Chris Daniel emceeing our annual conference. Our relationship spans 14 years, and I'm thankful to them for everything they have done for me, API, and this community. Specifically, I want to thank Patty, Blake, and Colleen for your support in making the Liberty Minute a reality. Congratulations on 100 years. This is a milestone to be proud of. This is the API Liberty Minute, and I'm Preston Little for the American Principles Institute.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right. Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero. Goal Zero, the leader in affordable home backup systems and solar generators. During a blackout, they can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more with clean power. Learn more at goalzero.com.
Bigger's so much better, he will beat every price. Nothing changes there. What? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, it can only be Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, baby. Hey, you got a tickle in your schnoz? Clock to Boz. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz, B-A-Z. BozAllergy.com.
Makes a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Brownie the Elf. It's this monstrously large logo that few people across the country knew even was existing on the planet. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show for a few minutes, Nathan Segura.
I just want you to know, yes. J.W. Johnson, our owner and executive vice president, told me he will be happy to send you a Brownie hoodie.
I'm sure I can give it to a Brown fan because, what's the phrase? I wouldn't be caught dead in it. But,
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
The countdown is on to November.
I think there's a lot of change that needs to happen in California.
Where will you be on election night? Right, we'll be here too.
This is an overwhelmingly Democratic state. So if they can turn out a bunch of California's 10 million Democrats.
Live and local, results and analysis on the Valley's election headquarters. News Talk 580, 105.9, KMJ. It's the Afternoon Drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
It's a battle for free speech.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
The third ever Afternoon Drive blood drive is coming up a week from tomorrow. We're going to be out in the lot at Radio City. That would be here. We're going to be in our own parking lot with the Central California Blood Center from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Taking your blood donations. If you guys want to, save a life, maybe score some goodies. I believe the sign up is available now at kmjnow.com. It's definitely available at drivekmj.com. And you can follow us on social media. But next Friday, October 21st, 2 to 7 p.m., we got a bunch of slots wide open for you guys, and we want to see you down here to make a donation, pick up, I don't know what the swag is yet, that we have not yet been
We're working
told.
on some special T-shirts and stuff. Plus, you get our Undying Love and Devotion snacks, and they always give you that little stack of coupons that are awesome.
All right.
So, yeah, you can sign up for it ahead of time. Walk-ups are welcome. But, yeah, sign up and you can grab one of your spots starting at 2 o'clock on the hour and half hour after that.
All right, get hydrated. Go make an appointment. DriveKMJ.com. The January 6th panel, as they are winding down the public hearings, have voted to subpoena the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. It's aggressive, and it's probably futile.
It's also unprecedented. But the representative out of Mississippi, Benny Thompson, who is the chair of the committee, said he is required to answer for his actions and that he is required to answer to the police officers who put their lives and bodies on the line to defend the democracy. It was a unanimous vote, and it was unsurprising. Now, the question is, what are they going to be able to do with this? Because there's still those 4 other folks that are electeds that they've asked nicely to come and talk, and they've all said no.
There's a couple of folks, like Steve Bannon, who have since been held in contempt of Congress. Trump is going to defy any subpoena from this body. I mean, he's already online talking about it, and he's saying, why didn't as he puts it, why didn't the unselect committee ask me to testify months ago? Why did they wait until the very end, the final moments of their last meeting? Because the committee is a total bust that has only served to further divide our country, which, by the way, is doing very badly, a laughingstock all over the world.
Well, it's nice to see he's got such a positive message. They weren't going to ask him at the beginning. He's the big guy. And is he being honest that he would have done it in the beginning?
Well, his next comment here, the unselect committee knowingly failed to examine the massive voter fraud which took place during the 2020 presidential election. The reason for what took place on January 6th. And see, I heard a caller on Appleton's program earlier, and ma'am, forgive me if I'm misremembering your name. I think it was Gayleen.
Okay.
And I have to admit, it was a little bit of a shock to hear this said out loud on the Ray Appleton program in the light of day. And again, ma'am, if I'm misremembering your name, I apologize, but I think her name was Gayleen. And what Gayleen said is she has had enough of the lunacy from the press, the Trump derangement syndrome that has completely overridden mainstream media, the constant fussing and fighting and political maneuvering. The point that she was making is that it's time for the Republican Party to find a new standard bearer, which the conversation then kind of steered into the possibility that Ron DeSantis is exactly the right man for the job. But while conservatives should be grateful to Donald Trump for what he accomplished, for the ground that he broke, that enough is enough. We can't continue as a country to allow our entire government to be bogged down over one man, even if a debt of gratitude is what he's owed instead of harassment from a partisan committee.
Yet, we hear that in the bubblings up of the Central Valley here on the station and whatnot from some of the, I think, most supportive folks of the GOP for sure and of Trump in the past. But the folks that have the spotlight, including big names in the GOP, are not willing to say that out loud either. I know he's got a lot of fundraising behind him. But I mean, like, look, we're still going on with the Great Lie. Like, I don't know what to be prepared for on November 9th. Or if people get in, if they win, like if Herschel Walker wins, then it was okay. The election was fine. But if he doesn't, is there already going to be, like, are we moving forward with the fact that we have free and fair elections in a democracy? Or are we talking about the breakup that happened?
Well, first of all, I want to correct a little bit of your misinformation there, ma'am. It's Tuesday, November 8th.
Oh, did I say Thursday?
You said the 9th.
Well, I meant the 9th, the day after.
We don't have elections on Wednesday.
No, I know, but I meant the day after. I knew the date.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I believe you.
The day after, if it's a sweeping tsunami of red, was all of it run correctly? But if it wasn't, then it's definitely not okay.
Well,
I'm just trying to play along.
So here's the question in my mind to answer you directly, because I understand your frustration. Guys like Tucker Carlson are going to claim that every GOP loss was fraud and every GOP win was God's will. And everybody on the left, the Carvilles and co, are going to claim that every GOP victory was a loss for immigrants and women and anybody who doesn't want to be a part of the MAGA-verse. And they're going to say that every Democratic victory was the will of the people, the true people, the one people, the chosen people. Everybody who wins their election legitimately is there because of voters. And I understand the enthusiasm for the voter fraud claims. I understand where it came from. The problem is we have now had 2 full years. None of the loudest people in the voter fraud claims business. And frankly, I'm including Mike Lindell. I'm including Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell, and President Trump. All of those people have platforms through which they can present their evidence. The closest thing that we've gotten to evidence to date is convicted felon and known grifter Dinesh D'Souza's almost pediatrically dismissible 2000 Mules film. Yeah. So while I'm tired of people continuing to insist that the election was a fraud, sorry, you lost. More people voted for President Grandpa than voted for the 45th. But in terms of Donald Trump getting pulled in front of this committee and being taken to task, Donald Trump is never going to come in. He is never going to testify. And this committee, this toothless thing, is going to go down in history as yet another waste of taxpayer money to point fingers across partisan lines.
There's a couple of things that I want to touch on when we come back of what was submitted leading up to this announcement and what will be an inevitable break. But right now, we got to move on to some other things. So stick around for that. We'll come back. We'll let you know what else was shared behind the scenes, including an email that said just declare victory before the actual election day ends. That'll be on the way. It is the afternoon drive on KMJ.
In Fresno on North Olive Avenue at East Clinton, we got a report of a non-injury accident. Also, we have on West California Avenue in South Cornelia, got a hazard in the roadway there. Next update happens at 3:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Some banks can make it complicated to redeem credit card rewards. But with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Come back to the ultimate rock Christmas tradition. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. December 1st, Save Mart Center. Millions have made this their must-see holiday event of the season. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestras, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, The Best of TSO, and more.
Rudy Salas received $80,000 in free trips and gifts. One trip was tied to the Chinese Communist Party, financed by a group trying to influence politicians like Salas. Who's Salas working for? David Valadeo is pro-America. Valadeo pushed to stop China from buying American oil reserves. David Valadeo, fighting to cut gas prices. Paid for by Congressional Leadership Fund and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You love the San Joaquin Valley, and so does Precision Civil Engineering, a proud and locally owned business that literally designs this region with each project completed. For over 55 years, the Dunkel family has provided civil engineering and land surveying services that have resulted in completed projects that reflect their commitment to excellence and dedication. Precision Civil Engineering operates each day with a goal of giving back to our community. They are a multidisciplined consulting firm with a wide range of turnkey solutions. Precision Civil Engineering.
Hey, boss, our stupid steam cleaner's busted again.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it from.
Good to know. And hey, in that case, what about my little pressure washer at home? Think they'll fix that up?
The little thing you got at the box store that you use on your patio? No, they don't do that. They specialize in industrial, commercial pressure washers, the big stuff that gets work done.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. You know, my steam cleaner's kind of old and in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure it's really worth fixing.
Just let them know. They'll actually come to you and give it a look. If it's worth saving, they'll fix it up. If not, they have some specials going on right now, and they're packed with new inventory, so you won't have to wait.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We like Personal Express because we can actually walk into an office and talk to a person and have your question answered face-to-face as opposed to spending 30 minutes waiting for someone to answer your call.
That face-to-face, one-on-one personal attention is just another reason why people every day become Personal Express Insurance customers.
We find that the rate that we're given, the customer service that we've experienced over the last 12 years has really been second to none. And with them covering both our car and our house, it really is a one-stop shop.
Personal Express Insurance has been known for its low rates, but our customers come with us and stay with us for what we like to call our local advantage.
Personal Express just makes sense. You're supporting the community, you're supporting your neighbors, you're supporting the people that live in your area.
I think you should say that. That gave me goosebumps.
I just did.
With offices in Fresno, in the Fig Garden Village, in Clovis, in the Buchanan Crossroads, and in Visalia, in the Visalia Pavilion. Or go to expressinsurance.com for a fast free quote.
The afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up at 3 o'clock, another keyword in the $25,000 payoff, so stay tuned for that. That's Philip. I'm Skip. We're talking about another unprecedented move here in the United States, and that is the January 6th panel voting to subpoena Trump. An aggressive move that'll likely not end up in the president actually getting up there and testifying about his actions. But I wanted to share what led up to this because there was some release of information. Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of this behind the scenes video. There were questions that were circulating around that Speaker Pelosi was somehow responsible for keeping the National Guard from coming in and all of the security. There was video that was played that shows Pelosi and Schumer evacuated from the Capitol. There are officials urgently appealing on video to governors and top administration to get the National Guard and other security support in. Jeffrey A. Rosen, the acting attorney general at the time, there's a moment where Schumer is seen asking, why don't you get the president to tell them to leave? Mm-hmm. So there's that. There's also an email that went out on October 31st. Tom Fenton was an informal advisor for Trump. He runs Judicial Watch. And on the 31st, he sent an email and suggested the ballots counted by Election Day deadline show the American people have bestowed upon me the great honor of re-election to President of the United States, the deadline by which voters in states across the country must choose a president, meaning that any lawfully cast ballots that were cast earlier, absentee ballots, shouldn't count.
Can I offer a counterpoint?
Oh, yeah, I'm just reading this from the... Well, this isn't this... Okay.
After the first televised hearing, there was all that hype. Remember, they talked about they were bringing in a producer from ABC to help them get the logistics worked out, and they were going to have this kind of multimedia thing, and you were going to see why this committee had been convened. And then public interest completely went away. The single greatest advocate for paying attention to a word out of these committees has been, so you know what Donald Trump's pissed about when he's posting on Truth Social. The public is not watching them. The public does not know what they have and have not concluded or alluded to. The vast majority of people who are going to participate in the election this November and in November of 2024 have already made up their mind on whether or not January 6th was indicative of decay in our republic or indicative of a patriotic uprising against the corruption in our republic.
I don't believe that. I do think, well, that's your belief. My belief is that while this side digs in deeper, the anti-Trump folks, yes, and this side digs in deeper, the MAGA folks, yes, I think people in the middle are trying to figure out what exactly happened because it was a very weird day.
Yes, but the committee hasn't told them what happened. The committee has continued to make politicized allusions to the conclusions that they think maybe people will draw if, in fact, they can ever get substantive evidence from the Trump camp, which they haven't because nobody in Trump world's talking.
Well, it gives him something to write about on Truth Social.
More than anything, I'm surprised that he took time to comment on it.
Oh, no, dude, he's watching it.
He is. Nobody else is.
It's just really this long love letter back and forth, this big dysfunctional relationship.
It turned
between
out
the two
Donald
of them.
Trump's got a burning desire to watch Liz Cheney take a hot bath.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
In Sacramento, a pattern of political corruption, scandals, pay-to-play schemes, and Rudy Salas is cashing in. Rudy Salas backed a plan to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon, costing us more every time we fill up the tank. Salas even voted against temporary gas tax relief for families. His reward? A lavish spring break trip from a group that supports higher gas prices. In another case, Salas took thousands from powerful drug companies and then voted to increase the cost of life-saving drugs cancer patients need. Salas even took a luxury vacation to China that was paid for by a group that promotes the Chinese Communist agenda. Corruption, scandal, pay to play. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Valadeo for Congress, authorized by David Valadeo.
Who would have thought there was such a demand for parking blocks? Those little 6-foot wide, 5-inch tall cement blocks in just about every parking lot in the valley. Who would have thought? Best Concrete Blocks, that's who. They're famous for 2,000-pound blocks, but now if you'd like to dress up your parking lot, call the experts. They've got a huge inventory and they're only $50 a piece. Call the Parking Block Hotline at 288-7902 or online bestconcreteblocks.com. Best Concrete Blocks.
Fall is the perfect season to cozy up in your new dream home. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and we have a few move-in ready homes waiting for you and your family in some of our most popular neighborhoods. Enjoy the highest quality craftsmanship and luxury amenities that have come to define a Gary McDonald home without the wait.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License number 847905.
News Talk 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. A young boy still missing out of Fresno. KMJ's Liz Kern has more in this report.
Fresno police are now looking for leads in other cities. 11-year-old Elias Lugo was last seen around 3:30 Monday afternoon. He was walking from his home on North Roosevelt Avenue near Palm and Belmont. He may have been spotted on Wednesday in Merced. Police there are looking into the tip. Visalia police are also reaching out to his mother, who lives in Visalia. We have his photo on our website and Twitter feed at KMJ Now. Call the Fresno police if you see him. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A Fresno attorney who worked for children found not guilty for all counts involving alleged sex crimes. Police arresting Jennifer Walters in 2019 for allegedly having sex with a boy for 4 years since he was 13. Walters' defense was the boy raped her, and it was reported someone punched out a courthouse window after that verdict was read. Officials with the Fresno Regional Workforce Development Board received $3 million to support its construction program for women. Assemblymember Joaquin Arambula presented a big check from the state of California. Some of the funding will go towards Valley Build Now, a pre-apprenticeship training program. Officials say it'll be used for paid training, stipends, and paid work experience for construction students. The January 6th committee today voted unanimously to subpoena former President Trump's testimony and what he did before and during the January 6th Capitol attack. That vote capped an afternoon of new hearing evidence. ABC's Andy Field is in Washington.
The committee played never-before-seen video of Senator Chuck Schumer and other congressional leaders huddled underground during the attack, pleading with Trump's acting attorney general for help.
Yeah, why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility.
And testimony from White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, who heard the president admit his election claims were false when he lost a Supreme Court appeal.
Said something to the effect of, I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing.
Also evidence the Secret Service knew that many of the protesters had weapons. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
It's the final weekend of the Big Fresno Fair. Comedian Dana Carvey headlines tonight at 7. The fair also features food trucks, carnival rides, horse racing, and much more. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Afternoon highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. Closer to normal temps are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, North Oliver at East Clinton, they're dealing with a non-injury accident. Then we head to Madera, northbound 99 at Cleveland. White semi is on fire there. And in Visalia, eastbound 198 Plaza, injury accident near the off-ramp. Look for some delays on eastbound 198. Next update, 317. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
WORK. WORK. Work.
To 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
This is Fresno County District Attorney Lisa Smitkamp. More than ever, we need local elected officials who are willing to take a tough stance against crime in our community. That's why I'm supporting Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council. Matt has a proven record of fighting crime. As police chief in the city of Clovis, Matt Baskell worked closely with my office to help keep Clovis safe. Proven results do matter. That's why I'm encouraging you to vote for Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council.
This is retired police chief and candidate for Clovis City Council, Matt Baskell. Clovis is a very special place to live and raise a family, and I want to keep it that way. I've lived here for over 30 years. My wife Joni and I raised our family here, and I want your family to have the same opportunities that we had. Good schools, clean neighborhoods, and safe streets. That is why I am running for Clovis City Council, and I would appreciate your vote. Paid for by Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council 2022.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive.
This is ridiculous. These are children. This is some kind of dystopian nightmare.
Philip and Skip driving you home today 2 to 6 only on KMJ and streaming at KMJNow.com.
304 on your afternoon drive. Skip Echeverria, Philip Teresi. Worldwide, you can listen at KMJNow.com. If you want to join us for the third ever afternoon drive, blood drive, it's a week from tomorrow, right here at the southwest corner of Palm and Shaw. We're going to get set up in the Radio City parking lot. And from 2 to 7 p.m., you can drop by, make a donation, save a life or three, and score some goodies. Head to KMJNow.com, head to drivekmj.com. Either way, you'll find the button to get signed up. Make a reservation so you can be here when you want to be here and get out of here when you want to get out of here. And we will see you next Friday for the afternoon drive, blood drive, number 3. It's, look, donating blood's really important, and it's a really, positive thing to do in the community. It is also a really mundane way to save a life. Because it's not a big deal.
Yeah, you just lay there and then they give you snacks and tell you how awesome you are and then wrap you up and send you on your way.
Yeah,
and you're done. You've saved 3 lives.
It doesn't mean it's not important, but it's very low intensity.
Yeah.
Then there's Dorian and David. Dorian and David were on their honeymoon. They left their home in Rhode Island. And after 2 years of waiting to take this trip because of the pandemic, they finally got to go to Spain.
Yeah, so they decide they're going to go out on a tour, go through a park. They've got their phone out, taking videos. And then they see a group of women panicking.
Dorian says, I saw flames coming out of the doorway next to the door that these women had come out of. I said, oh, my God. There's a fire.
That's when David ran inside before realizing he was in a nursery where no one spoke English.
Wait, I've had this nightmare.
He said, instinct took over. I found myself looking at 15, 20 babies sleeping and immediately just kind of lined everyone up and we started grabbing them and putting them into the crib. Others jumped in to get the babies out as smoke filled the room.
Dave says, it was probably 10 minutes. It felt like an instant, and it turned out okay. The fire crews arrived, and the couple went back to their walking tour.
But it will certainly be a honeymoon. They won't forget. I feel like, do you at least get to take a picture with the Spanish firefighters? I mean, I know you shouldn't brag about your heroic deeds, but, I mean, that is a honeymoon video I want to see, or a honeymoon picture.
You don't want to see all of them, huh?
The selfies are cute and all, and they, and I love Spain, but that's the picture that's missing from this collection of selfies.
Do you think they made it up?
Oh man, I feel like there'd be photos. I don't want to put that out there into the world. I'm hoping that they did it.
Well, it is. What is it? Skepticism Day.
It is International Skepticism Day. We're playing devil's advocate. Nursery fire in Spain.
I feel like if you can get a dozen babies out of harm's way, that's a key to the city moment, right?
Yeah, I would consider that to be a pretty big deal.
What do you think the countdown is to some kind of GoFundMe?
I know, right? Like, oh, pay for our
I mean, that's the world we live in now, right?
It would, well, and maybe that's why they just went about their day on their trip afterwards.
You can't find the fire, can you?
I can't. Everything is linked to the same pictures. I cannot choose to live in a world where somebody would make this up. So even though it is National Skepticism Day and there's not a single picture of the actual heroic moments,
you're just going to hang on to it. You're just going to
baby from. Oh, okay. There's one photo here.
Is there?
Okay.
It is real.
Okay. Woo. All right. We needed to dig into the Yahoo version of this. There are photos from the nursery where there's people that are all frantic, and then like they rolled these down, these cribs kind of down the street and stuff. But they should really put those photos in all of them. This happened in Barcelona.
Oh, was it? So this was a big city.
Yeah, this was in Barcelona, and once the Barcelona fire crews arrived on the scene, it seemed as if it was a normal day. They said later, it was wild. They found some more quotes here. The couple, along with other bystanders and Good Samaritans who pitched in to help save the babies, worked quickly to move all the young children out of the nursery as the room filled up with smoke. They assume it was an electrical fire. We were just literally taking cribs with a few kids in them, just stack the kids in.
Yep.
Hope all you kids like each other, and rolling them across the street to a high school lobby.
Yeah, in a situation like that, like go ahead and stack them too deep, because being squished for 3 minutes while you get pushed away from the fire, less bad than the fire.
Yeah, well, and these aren't just like little babies. These are toddlers and stuff, like, so they're wobbly and wiggly. So you do kind of just have to put them in a crib.
So you got to put a lid on it.
That's called a cage. We don't do that.
Try to save lives here. Put them in a dog kennel if it makes it easier for you to carry a few.
Okay, I'm just glad this National Skepticism Day had me up in arms for a minute, but this does appear to have been the case.
Okay,
and it is good. And in there, you know what? In their defense too, not posting up photos with the kids without consent from the parents and capitalizing from a tragedy, that was a solid move on behalf of the couple as well.
Okay. All right. Once again, you putting some sunshine on it.
I'm trying, man, because if this was a world where that was made up, I was just going to go home.
All right. Let's switch gears for a minute here. It is the silly season, which means that recommendations and endorsements and editorial board endorsements are starting to roll out. And another one popped up by way of the formerly local newspaper. Today, as a matter of fact, early today, good Lord, he got up 5:30 to post this. In the fight for the newly drawn 22nd Congressional District, in other words, the Valadeo Salas Showdown, the Fresno Bee says this: taking up the Democrats' mantle is perhaps the strongest candidate Valadeo has yet faced. Rudy Salas, an assembly member from Bakersfield, Salas has the experience and name recognition most of Valadeo's previous challengers lacked.
I didn't know about Salas until now, like this race.
Well, because he was an assemblyman down in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk a little bit about Kern County stuff, but yeah, I couldn't name off the assembly delegation from Kern County necessarily. The Fresno Bee editorial board goes on to say that there are key similarities between the two. For instance, they're both pro-oil in Kern County, and they both oppose the governor's all-electric new vehicle mandate by 2035. The Bee says that Valadeo's recent record in Congress shows his unwillingness to use the powers of the government to help raise up those who are struggling. Skip, would you please turn on the channel for this computer? It's called Producer.
Yes, we shall. Okay.
Okay, and to that, I would just like to remind everybody.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
The power of the government is not to raise up those who are struggling or provide equity because everybody's a little different and nobody has identical circumstances. It's certainly not this socialist utopia that the editorial board of the Fresno Bee seems to think is the purview of the government. They then go on to describe Salas as a moderate by Democrat standards, who would be more amenable to back programs to assist others, thus elevating the region's prospects. And I have to ask you,
yes,
does a guy who lies about his age on dating apps have the moral compass to be the leader for that socialist utopian dream the Fresno Bee is advocating in their endorsement of Mr. Salas?
So it's interesting that you bring that up, because that is something that was one of the stories that circulated kind of right after the was he using the right signs thing.
Well,
remember that? Which we look, I'm all for being green, like that's fine too, but yeah, there's rules on that. The lying about your age to women on the internet part really hit me the wrong way as a female who at one point depended on the internet to figure out my dating life. Here's hoping it works out for him sometime. I would love to hear what Salas has to say about stuff, because there's some things with Valadeo that I would like to get some clarification on.
Sure.
I would argue that he has tried to do things for the Valley. He took a beating for his votes on the initial impeachment. He has pushed for water here. There are some things he's joined us and been really nice. There are some things I need some clarification on from him post Supreme Court. But guess what? We're not going to get a debate. We're not going to be able to find that out.
Yeah.
So all we're going to do is turn on the TV and turn on the radio. And when we watch football on Sunday, you're going to see ad after ad after ad of them just punching each other, and no opportunity for the two of them to actually get together and answer questions.
No. That's not true. There was actually 2 opportunities to debate the contest for the 22nd Congressional District seat. One of them would have been broadcast on KC24 here in Fresno, formerly KMJ TV, and home of Sunday Morning Matters, which I was on last week. If you missed it, go to the website and find it. Also KGET 17 in Bakersfield. So we're covering both of the markets that are going to be most directly interested in whoever occupies this particular congressional office. And then the other debate would have been hosted by ABC 30 here in Fresno. Salas pulled out of both debates
and
this week.
Here's where I'm going to call shenanigans for California Democrats. Y'all got mad when people ran against Nunes and Nunes wouldn't debate them.
Yeah.
Well, everybody got mad.
Oh, yeah.
Nunes won't debate. He won't debate. He won't debate. Where's the town hall? Right? Everybody got mad. Team D said Team R was not playing fair.
Yeah.
Team R is trying to do a debate now, and you're running.
Yeah.
So, knock it off. That's my mom voice. Because I have some serious questions. I do have questions about these two.
Here's my frustration with these two and trying to pin them down. Rudy Salas had an opportunity. You mentioned the signs thing. And for those of you that don't recall, when Rudy Salas announced he was going to run for this seat, he repurposed his old signage from his assembly campaign, which it turns out isn't kosher according to campaign finance law. It actually isn't that big of a deal, except that he went on Sunday Morning Matters, and the host, Alexan Balakian, asked this cat 3 times, and he couldn't just look in the camera and say, yeah, I screwed up. And now he's not showing up for debates.
And people got mad that when it was the other way around in the district with Nunes, he wouldn't debate.
And nobody more loudly than the Fresno Bee, whose editorial board is now going for the guy who won't show up.
Come on, guys. Do the debate. I'll moderate it.
Right now in Fresno, southbound 41 and McKinley, there's some traffic cones in the roadway there. Madera, northbound 99 in Cleveland, got a semi-fire being reported there. Also, eastbound 198 west of Plaza in Visalia, injury accident near the off-ramp. Next update, 3:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Want to save big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order. Just use code RADIO. Offer ends soon. Shop today. Blindster.com.
Hey, boss, our stupid steam cleaner's busted again.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it from.
Good to know. And hey, in that case, what about my little pressure washer at home? Think they'll fix that up?
The little thing you got at the box store that you use on your patio? No, they don't do that. They specialize in industrial, commercial pressure washers, the big stuff that gets work done.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. You know, my steam cleaner's kind of old and in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure it's really worth fixing.
Just let them know. They'll actually come to you and give it a look. If it's worth saving, they'll fix it up. If not, they have some specials going on right now, and they're packed with new inventory, so you won't have to wait.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com.
Get ready for a giant comedic TV legend so up close and personal, only crawdaddies could do it. Tuesday night, October the 25th. You're never going to forget this. Get ready to scream Jimmy JJ Walker. This is going well beyond the good times. It's a one-on-one night that only crawdaddies could pull off. Up close and personal. I'm going to help a little bit too. Me, Ray Appleton, of course. Tickets are blowing out the door like a hurricane from hell. Jimmy J.J. Walker. Crawdaddies, October the 25th. The food is absolutely dynamite. The show is a singular rarity that will have you laughing until you fall off your bar stool. Crawdaddies on Main and Visalia. Jimmy J.J. Walker, practically in your lap. I'm Ray Appleton, and I really hope you're ready for this one. Crawdaddies. It can't get any better.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous. Please, he's just another RV League educated surgeon with good hair. No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor. No, she's on break. I'll handle this one. Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Come back to the ultimate rock Christmas tradition. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. December 1st, Save Mart Center. Millions have made this their must-see holiday event of the season. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestras, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO, and more.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way.
Receive a free in-home water test by visiting CulliganFresnoLindsay.com.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Brownie the Elf. It's this monstrously large logo that few people across the country knew even was existing on the planet. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show for a few minutes, Nathan Segura.
I just want you to know, yes. J.W. Johnson, our owner and executive vice president, told me he will be happy to send you a brownie hoodie.
I'm sure I can give it to a Brown fan because, what's the phrase? I wouldn't be caught dead in it. But,
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
The afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. Your keyword this hour, is WORK, W-O-R-K, WORK. Text that to 95819. You could win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Details at KMJnow.com. Also, I forgot to mention this last hour, and I want to bring it up. Pink patches.
Yes.
They're back. Law enforcement throughout our valley is selling pink patch versions of their uniform patches to raise money and awareness during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can get the link at KMJnow.com to buy individual patches or the complete set, all while supporting the Marjorie E. Radin Breast Care Center at Clovis Community Hospital. This is one of my favorite promotions we see every year. And so if you want to do that and keep your money local and do all that, KMJnow.com for the pink patches.
So, one of the folks who helped organize this was kind enough to gift me a complete set of pink patches in last year's campaign, and I'm very proud of it. I
it looks good in the office.
Got it framed up so everything's nice and presentable. I think there's 2 new patches.
Is there really?
So even if you bought the complete set last year, there are new patches to be had. So I've got to go through and I've got to look and see
which ones you're missing.
Yeah, because the frame that I've got is one of those shadow box frames, so I can kind of massage it all in and get them all in there. But I think they're really cool, and I know there's folks who collect law enforcement patches, anyways. But this is a really fantastic way to kind of get your toe in that water.
Well, and I was just thinking, you know how you have that person in your family, you never know what to buy them because they go and buy everything that they need, and their birthday's coming up on October 20th. It's very specific. I mean, it would be a good dad gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, you can do that and help fight breast cancer right here in the Valley, as it does benefit the Marjorie E. Radin Breast Care Center at Clovis Community. All right, let's do some follow-ups down in L.A. The dominoes keep on falling, if you will. Yesterday, the former president of the Los Angeles City Council, she had stepped down from that. Yesterday, Nuri Martinez resigned
from the council.
From the council altogether as a result of the recording that was leaked of that now infamous meeting that took place back in October 2021, where there was blatant racism on display.
So the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera resigned the day before that. He gave up his post because he was one of the voices heard. As yet, Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon have not responded to the calls for their resignations. I honestly don't recall if Joe Biden named them individually or just Martinez. But the president of the United States was I think his vote of no confidence was probably pretty influential in Ms. Martinez's choice to vacate her seat entirely.
Yeah, well, and I think another piece of this is Gil Cedillo lost his reelection campaign, so he's out.
In January.
And so that's where I think you're going to see kind of just quiet, if you will, from that side. No word from Kevin De Leon. Now, it was Martinez that was the most blatantly racist on the recording, but there was additional comments made from the other 4 individuals in the room. And just to be clear, it was racist and homophobic. She made racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-Armenian remarks about colleagues and residents, and then also went on to say terrible things about one of her fellow councilmen and his adopted child. Now, this is where the California DOJ is getting involved. They were talking about preserving political power for themselves and their allies through redistricting. So now they got to look at LA's redistricting processes.
Yeah, because lest we forget, that was why they were in the room together to begin with. They were talking about the decennial redistricting process. Rob Bonta says that redistricting process is foundational for our democracy and for the ability of our communities to make their voices heard, and it must be above reproach. The leaked audio has cast doubt on a cornerstone of our political process for Los Angeles. Oh, and by the way, the president did say that they should all resign. Wow. Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre, quote, he believes they should all resign. The language that was used and tolerated during that conversation was appalling.
Now, Instead, all 4 members on the recording have apologized, and Martinez has stepped down. Plus, you have the president of the council leaving. I mean, guys, the president, who's on Team D, said, like, leave. Like, this has become an absolute prime example, though, of a political group looking at somebody who did something real bad and just backing away. Leave it, trim the fat, whatever it is.
So I find this interesting, and I think it goes to an effort at impartiality, such as it is. Bonta is currently running for actually election to a full term because we reshuffled the deck so much here in California. But Bonta, of course, also describes himself as deeply appalled by the comments. He says there's no room for discriminatory and derogatory language in relation to the duties of a public official. However, he did not, as yet, he has not called for anybody to resign. I think that's because he wants to maintain at least the appearance of impartiality.
Well, and he is the guy that's in charge of investigating, right? So in that case, I'm going, okay, is he being kind of like weak and not saying something? But he is in a particular case situation where he is going to be impacting this investigation. If he says they should all resign and then he starts investigating, then it looks like that he's biased against them.
You can say that what you heard was appalling without coming off as already prejudiced. But if you start calling for people to suffer consequences before you've determined
what they did,
if there is anything actionable above and beyond you were jerks and said terrible things, because that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
Today, the only thing that we have evidence of, the only thing that we can point to and say, yes, as a matter of fact, these people said terrible things in what they thought was the privacy of a meeting. Doesn't make it okay, but right now they're guilty of something that lots and lots of people do. If it turns out that the redistricting process was actually influenced by those kinds of attitudes, then you've got a situation where the attorney general can come in and can alter those maps potentially.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then in order to push back on any sort of appeal or accusations on behalf of, the folks that were involved on the tape, or even just anybody that's mad about redistricting, I would think you got to keep your hands pretty clean in that way.
Yeah, and in this case, I'm not gonna give the man a hard time. I'm gonna say, Attorney General Bonta, do your job. Get in there, investigate this. Make sure that these people were just jerks and not criminals.
I just wonder, has anybody come to their defense? Because everything I've read, Nuri Martinez tried to pull the "I'm a mom, I need to do better" card. But that didn't even, that lasted all of about 5 seconds. No one has come to their defense, have they?
No. I mean, I haven't seen anybody come to their defense. I haven't even seen a tremendous amount of parsing. And I think it's because it's Democrats. And so the folks on social media who would normally indulge the practice of parsing, well, it's not really homophobic to refer to the guy as a little b because that's not, necessarily language that's referencing a matter of sexuality. It's just emasculating in a broad way. Like that, like you're not hearing that because that usually comes from folks that have certain proclivities off to the right of the spectrum. And they're not going to come to the defense of these schmucks. And the woke folk on Twitter, they have to be tying themselves in knots. You got Kevin De Leon talking about one of the assembly members and getting a laugh off of the line when Martinez asked what the assemblyman's last name was. De Leon pops off. It ends in an IAN, I'll bet you.
It's time for news now on KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. State's Attorney General urging the Fresno City Council to drop a proposal for rezone in the southeastern part of the city. It follows an approval earlier this year. The Fresno Planning Commission voted in favor of Mayor Dyer's plan to switch residential parcels to light industrial use for more than 92 acres of land in that part of the city. But State AG Rob Bonta calls the plan, quote, likely unlawful, and in a statement sent to council members, he calls the plan made to address heavy pollution, quote, misguided. A group wants to make the renewal process for a concealed weapons permit quicker. The firing line in Clovis creating an online program for the weapons renewal process for a California concealed weapon permit. Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims approved the idea for the online class, which has video, readings, multiple lessons, and quizzes. Officials say applicants still have to perform live fire tests after taking the online course. The class is $130 for new permit applicants and $95 for renewals. It appears 2 Connecticut police officers shot and killed in the line of duty, lured into an ambush. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more.
The committee played never-before-seen video of Senator Chuck Schumer and other congressional leaders huddled underground during the attack, pleading with Trump's acting attorney general for help.
Yeah, why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility.
And testimony from White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, who heard the president admit his election claims were false when he lost a Supreme Court appeal.
Said something to the effect of, I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing.
Also evidence the Secret Service knew that many of the protesters had weapons. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Afternoon highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. Closer to normal temps are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, all of the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Visalia, eastbound 198, just west of Plaza, still dealing with an injury accident at that location. Then in Corscold on North Dome Drive at Blue Jay Court, some down power lines are being reported in the roadway. CAL FIRE is on the scene, and PG&E is on the way. Next update happens at 3:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Recycle your old technology free during Staples Free Tech Take Back. Items like old modems, mice, and mobile phones, or cables, calculators, and camcorders. Staples Rewards members get $5 back in rewards. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 reward per month. Visit staples.com/recycling. Recycle at Staples.
I was thinking back to some of those growing up years, and even though we've been doing this for 40 years, those first years, we struggled with things like getting work, paying the bills.
A message from Jerry at All Britain Heating and Air.
But there was another struggle. We also struggled with who we were going to be as a company. What would define us? I remember one of those defining moments pretty clearly. We were new in business, and a customer called in that one of our staff didn't want to talk to, and told our customer service rep, take a message, tell them I'm not here. And I thought, is this who we are? That moment really started us down a road to define what for us is honesty and integrity. Do we want to be all in? Today we think about integrity as what we do in the corner of an attic that we know the customer will never see. That's being in 100%. I'm glad that we did.
That's All Britain Heating and Air.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water. Save California.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson with Wilson's Power Sports, located in Madera, California. My husband Bob and I have been working with Cumulus Media for over 5 years. Within the last 2 months, we started working with Cumulus's digital department and are extremely pleased with their results on Cumulus Boost and search engine marketing.
Find out more. Go to cumulusboost.com. We'll get you a free website audit along with all the details of Boost. cumulusboost.com. Boost from Cumulus Media.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big. Blindster.com.
Filtered water in your home is easier than ever. Hey, it's me, Appleton. Taste and feel the difference with LifeSource Water. Visit lifesourcewater.com. Call them 559-449-8822.
Concrete blocks are being used to cover electrical access panels to prevent copper thieves from robbing you blind. Check them out online at bestconcreteblocks.com.
Miss one of your favorite KMJ shows? Grab the podcast anytime. Just ask your smart speaker. Get it on Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, or go to the podcast page at kmjnow.com. It's the afternoon drive with Philip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
It's meant for everyday people to understand.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Philip.
It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. That's Skip Echeverria. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride. A lot going on. So we talked about pink patches. We talked about the afternoon drive, blood drive. Oh, and there is Sip and Savor Saturday at Harris Ranch. They're doing a special spread. Harris Ranch doing it right. And pairings from a big slice of the Firestone Walker lineup. So Sip and Savor is Saturday at Harris Ranch. Tickets, I believe, are still available. You can find them by way of kmjnow.com. I might have to slip down there for that. I really like Firestone Walker's stuff.
Oh, especially some of the darker ones. Those were some of my favorites. I'll be good. Oh, you're going to need a nap afterwards or just stay there.
Well, they've got the inn.
Yeah.
Get your tickets, book your room, make it happen, man. Okay, so
while we're on the subject of racist people.
Hey, man, I wasn't... No, I'm kidding. I've not done this one. But as long as we're talking about people getting caught on tape popping off.
Yeah. I mean, well, look, this stuff pops off, and when jocks see this, you're like, oh, did you see that? This comes to us from Atlanta.
Yeah. A spokesperson for iHeartMedia confirms to Channel 2 investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln that Atlanta Division President Drew Lautner is no longer employed by the media company after video emerged of Mr. Lautner in the backseat of an SUV dropping bombs.
Yeah, repeatedly screaming the N-word. The same spokesperson said allegations of this nature go against our company values and our policies, and we take them very seriously. Employees were notified of the separation earlier today. This video actually dates back to August of last year. And there are lawyers that are representing the employee who recorded the cell phone video.
Yeah, there's attorneys out of Jersey and Texas. And Attorney Castle, Jason Castle, one of the folks out of Texas, says this was not a gotcha moment. He said it in the presence of 4 executive employees, one of whom happened to be black.
Castle says the video was recorded while Lauder was riding in an SUV with 2 other iHeart employees. They were leaving a charity event in Atlanta.
According to Mr. Castle's client, this was not the first time Mr. Lautner used racially insensitive language around employees.
Yeah, you don't just jump to this one, screaming in the back seat of the SUV on the way from the charity. People are going to work day in and day out, and they are enduring this type of environment, this type of discrimination, says Castle. There's not going to be any criminal charges, obviously, but
no, there's nothing. He didn't do anything criminal. He was just being a racist.
Yeah. I have a prediction.
Yes.
Well, if this person was like on air, it would be different. They were a president behind the scenes, but in a really big market, I think you're going to see somebody head off to a rehab or something.
That seems like a reasonable possibility to me. I remember at one point in time, I had a couple of friends who really they felt a need to assert that they were cool enough and colorblind enough that they could toss it around in front of our black friends. And I've always cringed at that. And I know that there's black folks who will just blow it off because people are dumb, and what do you do with the drunk idiot who's using the N-word? Is this the hill we're going to die on today? And God bless everybody who's ever had to tolerate that kind of stupidity. But I've always cringed when I've seen it, and I'm just, there's something in the back of my head because drinking was involved because it's a bunch of folks from the same workplace in the back of an SUV.
Daylight even, so they were day drinking.
They go out, hit the links for, God knows what, charity event, team building exercise, whatever, get a little too loosey-goosey at the old 19th hole, and then this guy thinks he's funny. He thinks he's establishing some kind of rapport.
I think what you're seeing here, the way that it's being screamed is actually meant to be insulting and mad, is the way that I'm taking it.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video.
Yeah. So even so, though, if you're the president of the company, and this actually goes back to the argument about what we're talking about with Nuri Martinez and why you should be especially aware of when you are in a position of leadership. Nuri Martinez was the president of the city council. Now, folks started chiming in. Nobody was as blatant as she was, but certainly nobody called her out on the behavior, which was absolutely terrible behavior, right? And who's going to call out this president in that setting? In the car while, they've just come from a charity event or whatnot.
Well, and let me ask you this. What do you say? Because I'm a pretty happy drunk. I not that I go around getting smashed all the time, but I've been in my cups once or twice, and I'm a pretty happy drunk. I don't go to the N-word. I go to I love you, man. But you see somebody acting this way, and maybe they think they're being funny, maybe they're angry, and they're popping off. If that's your division president, what do you say? I mean, do you just try to wedge a dude, slow your roll in there?
Well, I think it would depend. I think you would probably have a better opportunity to say slow your roll than I would. Because there are these kind of nuanced things that are a part of it. Sometimes I think people just want to try and minimize the moment and move on. I mean, in this case, if the one black executive that was with them didn't say anything, did they just go okay, let's just get... But drinking doesn't make you racist. Drinking makes you talk the way you talk, and this guy was talking the way he talks.
But I guess what I'm asking is, I don't think it's on the only black person in the car.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No.
And are you and I guess it's just a situational thing. You just got to read the room, because the thought that goes through my head is, if we let the idiot be an idiot and then we back this person up on the other end when inevitably they raise the issue.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as popping the guy in the jaw. It's not the same thing as screaming at the guy to shut his mouth. But I guess you're backing up the person who was present to be victimized by this. Or is it incumbent upon whoever the biggest person is in the back seat to just shout the guy down? Consequences to your career be damned.
I would like to think that that's what I have in me, but at the same time, people do have, if you're worried about your job and your house and your insurance and putting food on the table, is there the opportunity to be able to push back? Because again, I don't think you just jump to add all alcohol and start dropping the N-word like this now former Atlanta president did at iHeart. You probably have some other things that are a little rotten. I'm gonna guess there's some personality things that are a little problematic. And so do you feel like you can say that without getting, losing your job or getting harassed or whatever? Is it worth it?
I would think that at some point the whistleblower law would come into effect. Hey, VP John Doe was tossing around N-bombs on our way back from the golf tournament, so I told him to shut his cake hole. Am I going to lose my job? Nope.
Well, and I wonder, why is the video out now?
Because somebody was off hiring lawyers.
See Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Got an accident in Fresno. This one is on Vine between Maple and Deering. It is a non-injury accident being reported. In Visalia, eastbound 198 west of Plaza, the scene of an injury accident. That area is pretty much cleared up. There's just a few residual vehicles on the scene, but traffic is moving along. North Durham at Blue Jay Court, course goal down power lines being reported there. And we understand that PG&E is on the way. Also, just come up. A westbound 180 at southbound 99 got a non-injury accident just occurring. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Southern California Edison. Southern California Edison. When wildfire risk is high, SCE may call a public safety power shutoff to help keep our communities safe. Safety is their top priority. Learn more at sce.com/wildfire.
For a long time now, you've heard me talk about the Glass Shop in Visalia. What a great place this is. And it's well represented all through my home. Windows, mirrors, screen doors, yeah. And they're big shining stars, Anlin Windows. You've heard me brag about Anlin Windows warranty. It's a double warranty, and I'm going to brag again. Your Anlin Windows have a double lifetime warranty, which means when you sell your home, that warranty goes to the new owner as well. They're locally owned and manufactured out in Clovis. Their quality control is tip-top, bar none, better than anybody else. And that's why the Glass Shop swears by them. Even Scott, he's the window wizard I tell you about. He likes them so much, he put them in his own home. What does that tell you? Let's say you only need 1 or 2 windows. But Glass Shop will still come to your house and take care of you. Practically every other window place is not going to bother for 1 or 2 windows, but the Glass Shop will. Click theglassshop.com. Isn't that easy? Theglassshop.com. They're in Visalia, but if you're hearing my voice, they're going to take care of you wherever you are. The Glass Shop and Anlin Windows. It doesn't get any better. Who says so? I say so.
Rudy Salas received $80,000 in free trips and gifts. One trip was tied to the Chinese Communist Party, financed by a group trying to influence politicians like Salas. Who's Salas working for? David Valadeo is pro-America. Valadeo pushed to stop China from buying American oil reserves. David Valadeo, fighting to cut gas prices. Paid for by Congressional Leadership Fund and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It seems everyone has a breast cancer story. Some have battled it firsthand, and others have helped loved ones face the challenge. Now is your chance to help in a whole new way by buying a special pink patch from your local law enforcement agency. Each patch is a $10 donation, and your contribution stays local, supporting the Marjorie E. Rated Breast Care Center at Clovis Community Medical Center. Please go to valleypinkpatch.org to learn more or make your gift. Thank you to our Valley Pink Patch sponsors: Be Sweet Citrus, Fresno Acura, the Clovis Police Officers Association, Lennar Homes, KC24, The Business Journal, and News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right. Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up at 4 o'clock, another keyword in the $25,000 payoff. So we'll get to that on the way. Stick around for a chance to win $100 and qualify for a big old pot of money. But during the break, we refueled on caffeine and cinnamon rolls thanks to Christopher Gabriel and the Big Fresno Fair. So thanks for that. And found some audio for you.
Oh, no.
Oh, buckle up. This coming to us from WSB-TV2 in Atlanta.
The regional president of a major media company based right here in Atlanta is under scrutiny tonight. Video shows him repeatedly using racial slurs and misogynistic language. iHeartMedia confirmed to Channel 2 Action News Drew Lauder is no longer with the company after video surfaced showing a racist rant in the backseat of a car. Investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln is live now in Northwest Atlanta. And Ashley, you found out this video was made public after the company didn't initially take any action against Lauder.
What?
Well, George, the attorney representing that employee who recorded that video tells us that iHeart knew about that video and they took no action. We later found out they did conduct an investigation, but today those employees notified that Lauder is no longer with the company.
At this point, it's beyond belief.
It's racially offensive language seen coming from iHeart Regional President Drew Lauder.
To say something as insensitive as run over Negroes, implying run over black people, when there was a young man who was run down and killed by 3 white men.
Jason Castle represents a black iHeart executive who recorded this video, taken after a charity event last year. Castle says Lauder appeared to be under the influence after shouting racial slurs. He's also seen on video groping the hired driver multiple times.
Oh. Are you black? Are you white? I don't know. No one cares. Oh my God. Give me that shot. You had it. You better give it a god.
According to Castle's client, this wasn't the first time Lauder has used racially insensitive language around employees.
And they're enduring this type of environment, this type of discrimination.
Castle says what's even more troubling is that iHeart is a nationwide staple when it comes to minority-focused radio stations. iHeartMedia sent a statement saying they can't comment on personnel matters.
Oh,
These
come
go
on.
against the company's values. They did confirm that Lauder is no longer with the company.
These things
He keeps going. He keeps going. And I think he's getting handsy with the driver too, which is just on top of it. So that answers the question. We were saying the executive, he was recording, or he or she. I'm assuming he.
I can't be mad at the individual who made this public, because I understand somebody makes a claim like this, you may not fire somebody on a he said, she said.
Right.
You should, and you probably should never fire somebody on he said, she said. I get 30 seconds into this video and it's yo Lots. We got to talk, buddy. Bring your key.
Yeah. And the fact that an investigate, and this is part, and I get it. I get that when they do investigations, the people that lodge the complaint oftentimes don't get to find out what the outcome of that investigation is unless somebody gets fired. But how on God's green earth does that keep a guy in his seat as president in Atlanta?
I don't know. Or how his billing numbers?
You know what? There's probably something to that. Not now. Anybody gonna hire him?
He's going to go to rehab. He's going to go to what do they call the training now where you learn not to be
sensitivity training?
Not sensitive. No, it's the diversity, inclusion, and diversity.
He's probably taken it already.
Oh, well, yeah, we're all required to do it, but he'll have to go like really take it, like a college course take it. And then he'll go shop around his resume and some media market's going to pick him up because he's got experience. It's just going to be a media market somewhere in the Dakotas.
Coming up at 4 o'clock, we'll get to another keyword in the $25,000 payoff. This is the afternoon drive. A look at your headlines on the way, too. Thanks for listening to KMJ.
Part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
This is Fresno County District Attorney Lisa Smitkamp. More than ever, we need local elected officials who are willing to take a tough stance against crime in our community. That's why I'm supporting Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council. Matt has a proven record of fighting crime. As police chief in the city of Clovis, Matt Baskell worked closely with my office to help keep Clovis safe. Proven results do matter. That's why I'm encouraging you to vote for Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council.
This is retired police chief and candidate for Clovis City Council, Matt Baskell. Clovis is a very special place to live and raise a family, and I want to keep it that way. I've lived here for over 30 years. My wife Joni and I raised our family here, and I want your family to have the same opportunities that we had. Good schools, clean neighborhoods, and safe streets. That is why I am running for Clovis City Council, and I would appreciate your vote. Paid for by Matt Baskell for Clovis City Council 2022.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Fall has finally arrived. Let Willow Gardens help prep your winter veggie garden, plus check out their supply of large, mature trees to plant now. They're not just your garden headquarters, they're also your Christmas headquarters. Located off Willow and International in Clovis, Willow Gardens will deck your halls with their incredible holiday boutique. Get a jump on your Christmas decor and gifts coming up November 3rd through the 5th at their in-store event for special discounts on most purchases during extended hours with food trucks, refreshments, and a complimentary wine glass. Save the date.
When we transferred to Personal Express Insurance, we actually saved over $400 and for better coverage.
Since 1984, Personal Express Insurance has been known throughout the Central Valley for their great rates. But their customers come with them and stay with them for what they like to call their local advantage.
I would have been happy just breaking out even because of the personal and the local advantage. But when we saved money, that was impressive. We like that.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Peralta, president of Personal Express Insurance. In these uncertain times, we want to assure you that our local agents are available to discuss your insurance needs. Everyone, please stay safe and stay healthy.
Call 559-256-1090. With offices in Fresno, in the Fig Garden Village, in Clovis, in the Buchanan Crossroads, and in Visalia, in the Visalia Pavilion. Or go to expressinsurance.com for a fast, free quote.
Would we recommend Personal Express Insurance? Absolutely.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. A vigil honors the life of 22-year-old Julissa Fuentes in Selma. Authorities ended their 2-month-long search for Fuentes after her body found near Pine Flat Lake in Fresno County. The vigil held last night at Lincoln Park near McCall Avenue and Mill Street. Officials say it appeared that Fuentes' car went off the roadway near a curb. California begins construction on a broadband network to bring high-speed internet service to all residents. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
Construction beginning Thursday in rural San Diego County. It's the first leg of the 10,000-mile broadband network. Governor Gavin Newsom making a $6.5 billion investment to expand broadband infrastructure in the state, enhancing internet access for the underserved communities. Governor Newsom says California is now one step closer to making the digital divide a thing of the past, adding, quote, all Californians, no matter the zip code they call home, can be part of the Golden State's thriving and diverse economy. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
3 children ordered to be surrendered to Child Protective Services missing in San Joaquin County, and their parents are suspected of taking them. San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office says those children considered at risk due to ongoing substantial danger to the physical and emotional health. 9-year-old Christopher, 11-year-old Evangeline, and 16-year-old Angelica Pinion ordered by the court to surrender to CPS, but their mother, 35-year-old Carrie Dominguez, did not show up. The children believed to be with Dominguez, as well as 48-year-old Michael Pinion. Both are wanted for parental abduction, child endangerment, and violation of a court order. An Amber Alert was not authorized because the vehicle they may be using has not been identified. New federal numbers show inflation running at 8.2% last month. The president has weighed in on the report, and ABC's Karen Travers has the story.
President Biden says in a statement that the new inflation report shows, quote, some progress in the fight against higher prices, even as we have more work to do. The president highlighting that inflation is down from 11% in the prior quarter, but adding that Americans, quote, didn't need today's report to tell them that the cost of living has been too high for years. The Consumer Price Index shows prices were 8.2% higher in September compared to a year ago. President Biden says fighting global inflation to help working families here in America is his top priority. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Afternoon highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. Closer to normal temps are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
In Fresno, westbound 180 at the 99, we have a non-injury accident being reported. Visalia at northbound 99th Avenue 120, there is a non-injury accident there. And North Dome at Blue Jay and Court School's power lines down in the roadway. Next update, 417, Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
Profit. P-R-O-F-I-T. Profit.
To 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
And now, a peek at the day in the life of a local business owner who does not partner with Cumulus to boost their online presence.
Okay, let's get organized. I need to respond to my Facebook reviews, then my Google reviews, then ask for more reviews because I don't have enough. Update specials on my website, post my specials on social, and darn it. What's the other thing I need to do?
Hello? Anybody back there?
Oh, that was it. Run my business.
And now, a peek inside the mind of a local business owner who does partner with Cumulus to boost their online presence.
I love watching the sun go down and my sales go up. Oh, look, a cloud.
The difference? A single partner who can take care of all your online presence needs. Keeping up with your online presence can be a full-time job, and you're already running a business. Get your time back. Use it to do what you do best, and find out how we can do the rest. Visit cumulusboost.com. That's CUMULUS boost.com.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive at 490-5858.
And toll free at 800-776-5858.
You know, I can't articulate like you can, but every time you talk, I understand almost everything that you say.
We're sorry.
It's the Valley's Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Now, Philip and Skip.
406 News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Don't worry, Skip. I'm not glaring at you. My eyes are just getting that much worse, and now I have to squint through my spectacles to read the giant blue clock over your shoulder. God, I love getting old.
I was like, what's going on here? Everybody just cinnamon roll and everything.
Yeah, that wasn't for you. That was for my youth, wasted and gone too soon. Hey, 25K payoffs in play. $100 might not buy a good pair of glasses, but it'll get you halfway there. Text the national keyword to 95819. We give you a keyword every hour, and every hour you've got a chance to win $100. If you do win the $100 in any given hour, you are in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. You can read all the rules at KMJNow.com. And, of course, 25K payoffs brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. But if you want to play, it starts with that text. What is the national keyword for the 4 o'clock hour?
It is profit, Profit, profit.
Text it to 95819. Good luck. This is fun. This is not a heavy thing. This is not a serious, life-altering bit of legislation. Assemblymember Lori Wilson authored AB 984, which was signed into law by California Governor Gavin Newsom just about a week ago. It's a follow-up on a pilot program that we actually started back in 2018. 175,000 participants paved the way for millions of licensed drivers to now start using digital license plates. Have you seen these?
No. It's an electronic ink style display similar to those found on an e-reader. Help me understand this, because we're talking about this on a car.
Yeah, so like if you've got a backlit LCD or LED display like you have on an iPad or a TV or something, they wash out in bright light.
Yes.
This is the same kind of technology that you'd have on like a Kindle, which means that it's perfectly legible in broad daylight because it's that e-ink matte gray on gray display. And it can be made to display graphics, although that's not really what it's meant to do. It's really meant to just show kind of stationary, fairly simple images. But as you can see from the picture here, it does the California script fine and a nice big, in this case, 8MCW268 on the back of a Telluride.
Okay, but is it needed? Because I understand this offers you a chance to customize it, right? You can choose your color choices and border displays. You can also utilize location services, security features. This is you're not going to need to keep putting stickers on and then slice through them so nobody takes your sticker off of it. But this to me just speaks of one more thing that can get broken and will be expensive to fix. And do we need this to be electric as well, or not electric, but electronic?
Connected to the internet?
Yeah. Now I got to pay for Wi-Fi in my car for sure?
No, you could use the Wi-Fi at home to get it updated.
Okay, and then it just stays there. It's not updated. It's not connected all the time.
I have not read all of the technical stuff on this, but I believe, for obvious reasons, when your vehicle is in motion, it has to just show a license plate. However, while you're parked at Whole Foods, you could have it display "Have a nice day" because you're not operating a motor vehicle on a public road. And if your car got stolen, I think there's potential to have the license plate start flashing, "Help me, call 911, this car's stolen."
It actually does have a couple of different emergency messages, like if the vehicle was stolen. Could you imagine? It's like, this isn't my driver, or an Amber Alert, which is important too.
I don't know you. That's my purse.
Stop touching me. There's only 2 options to choose from at this point: a battery-powered version and a hardwired version.
Yeah.
You could do the self-installed model with a replaceable 5-year battery, available at $19.95 a month.
Okay.
The hardwire version is only offered to commercial businesses and features a hardwired, professionally installed model with integrated telematics features and a backlit display for $24.95 a month.
Okay.
Arizona and Michigan have these. Texas allows digitized plates only for commercial drivers.
Yeah.
And there's a few other states that are working on this. Would you spend the money to do this? Because I won't.
Yeah, if I had like a Tesla, or I had something that was really modern that I thought it looked cool, because That yellow script, the yellow font on black.
On black
pipe,
looks really nice, and they charge you good for that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, California is crazy with what they charge for any kind of customization. But I think that's a really smart looking plate.
Yes, I agree.
But if I had a Tesla or something that was especially like an electric vehicle, I could probably be talked into this. The part that there's a monthly subscription, though, I have to tell you, there's nothing I hate more than being charged a fee for something I already paid for.
Everything is a monthly subscription now, though. And case in point, we had some friends that were going back and forth on a new car, and I think they did a lease option. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's BMW. Not that I would know because I don't drive that. The not mom van is a Chevy. She's going to have to start paying for her heated seats.
What?
A monthly subscription to have access to the heated seats.
Yeah, see, this is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. I understand having different tiers, different packages for cars. Because look, a Honda Accord's a really fantastic automobile that you can get 250,000 miles out of one of those things for the price of regular oil changes and decent fuel. Having a version that has manual everything so that somebody can get into it for $20,000 cheaper than the King Hell Daddy version with the leather seats and the moonroof and blah, blah, blah. Totally get that. Totally understand that. I think that that's a smart thing to do. If I buy a car from you and you come back to me with anything other than the stupid XM radio coming with a monthly fee, we're done here.
So, okay.
I won't buy the car. It could be that F-150 that I keep talking about wanting to buy. If I give you $75,000 for my wheels and you come back to me with, well, it's going to be a monthly fee to access this feature, I'm coming to your house.
So right now, this is available in UK, Germany, New Zealand, and South Africa. It's not yet in the United States, but apparently there's plans for it. BMW in particular has been putting these features into subscription since 2020. Get this. You put all that money down for your fancy BMW. BMW is now selling subscriptions for heated seats in a number of countries. They're calling these microtransactions for high-end car features. So you're going to see this across the board. The monthly subscription to heat your BMW's front seats costs roughly $18.
Not going to do it.
With options to subscribe for a year for $180, 3 years for $300, or you can pay for unlimited access for $415.
I bought a car with a capability.
Right. But they're not going to unlock the capability for you.
Then I'm not buying your car.
I
will die behind the wheel of a beat down old Ford Ranger before I will pay a monthly subscription to have a part of a car that I bought work properly. Absolutely not. It's disgusting.
Well, I mean, just be on the lookout for it because it appears that in the reporting I'm seeing, BMW is kind of on the front of this, but you see the microtransactions in games and stuff like that, right? All the time.
You know why BMW is out at the front of this?
Why?
Because only people who are too dumb to be unable to find their turn signal are going to pay a monthly fee to have features in a car they already bought work. How much is it going to cost to get that turn signal working, BMW?
Heated seats are awesome, but I wouldn't pay for it either, man.
No!
On principle alone, no way.
On the goofy animated license plate, like maybe if you can give me a justification because you're GPS tracking or you got an app that does something for me, maybe. But no, you try to charge me to make part of my car work after I bought it. To hell with you.
How long until these get hacked, though, and you don't realize it, and it says somebody's like, oh, that's Philip Teresi's car, doot, 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 and then it says Skip is the best. If you didn't do it, make sure you text the word profit, PROFIT, profit to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Official rules and details at KMJnow.com. It's brought to you by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino on KMJ.
In Fresno, westbound 168 at Shaw at the on-ramp there, we have an injury accident that is just now being reported. Also, we have a problem in Los Banos, northbound State Road 33, just north of Santa Nella, a hit-and-run non-injury accident. In Visalia, Kings Canyon, overlook of 180 at the 198, hazard in the roadway with a semi on the side of the road. And there is one other little bit of news. State Route 137 at Road 188. This is Visalia. A collision there and unknown injuries. Next update, 4:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Honey, I'm going to turn down the air.
Oh, no, you're not. We'll have to mortgage the kids to pay the power bill.
But it's so hot.
I know, hon, but we can't help it. Do you want a freeze pop?
If this sounds like your house, Planet Solar can help with that. Adding a new Planet Solar system gives you control over your utility bill. If you think gas prices are high, wait until you get this year's summer power bill. Lock in your electricity prices today with a new Planet Solar system. If you want to run your air conditioning more, just add solar and maybe you won't have to mortgage the kids to pay for it. Call Planet Solar today at 559-228-9245 or visit us on the web at planetsolar.com. We're locally owned and operated to give you the great service you deserve.
Honey, I'm going to turn the air down.
All right, have at it. With our new Planet Solar system, we don't have to worry.
Stop worrying. Call Planet Solar today at 559-228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Attention Madera County voters of District 1. We all expect our elected officials to have the knowledge and skills to make the right decisions that affect all of us. That person, Andy Wheeler. Andy Wheeler has lived in District 1 for over 24 years, where he raised his family, and he's a financial advisor. So when it comes to budgets, there's no one better to watch over our tax dollars. He's a school board member and used real science to get our kids back in school. Andy's experience has earned him the endorsements of every Madera County public safety organization, including our own Madera County Sheriff Tyson Pogue. Sheriff Pogue said, "I'm supporting Andy Wheeler for supervisor in District 1. His professionalism and dedication to the community is second to none." Join Sheriff Pogue, the Madera Deputies Association, the Madera Police Officers Association, and the Madera County Firefighters Local 2881, and vote for Andy Wheeler for supervisor.
Paid for by Andy Wheeler for Madera County Supervisor, District 1, 2022.
Buildings Unlimited will be celebrating 20 years serving Central California and the West Side. Buildings Unlimited, specializing in concrete tilt warehousing, cold storage, processing facilities, and commercial pre-engineered metal buildings. Buildings Unlimited is your single point of contact from design to the completion, proudly featuring new core steel, manufactured in the USA. Buildings Unlimited, where the only limit is your imagination. Call our experienced team for a free consultation at 559-485-9948 or visit us at buildingsunlimited.net.
Who would have thought there was such a demand for parking blocks? Those little 6-foot wide, 5-inch tall cement blocks in just about every parking lot in the valley. Who would have thought? Best Concrete Blocks, that's who. They're famous for 2,000-pound blocks, but now if you'd like to dress up your parking lot, call the experts. They've got a huge inventory and they're only $50 a piece. Call the Parking Block Hotline at 288-7902 or online bestconcreteblocks.com. Best Concrete Blocks.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Do you own an agricultural business and want to grow and make more money? Then it's time to become an affiliate or a preferred vendor of the Ag Center today. Don York, KMJ Ag Director. You can join agriculture's one and only lead generation and networking platform. Be among other exclusive agricultural businesses offering products, services, consulting, and ag tech to farmers of all sizes. Contact the Ag Center today at theagcenter.com.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California, and now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Your keyword this hour is profit, P-R-O-F-I-T, profit. Text that to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Good luck. Official rules and details at KMJnow.com.
So as long as we're talking about cars, let's talk about all the money that's about to get spent on traffic patrols and traffic safety programs. Right here in the city of Fresno, PD received a $500,000 grant to, as the chief puts it, support our ongoing traffic safety efforts in the community.
Well, and 3 out of 4 voters at KMJnow.com with our daily buzz question actually agreed that we need increased traffic enforcement. And this includes what we talked about earlier, people forgetting to stop at red lights and stop signs.
Yeah, that as she was mentioning, we did talk about it. We were actually discussing today's daily buzz question at KMJnow.com. Does Fresno need more traffic enforcement? Give us your opinion. KMJnow.com. It's sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. Yeah. Look, I think that we should step up DUI patrol, and I think that we should step up checkpoints. But the other thing that we absolutely have to do, stop worrying about people who are doing 50 miles an hour along Shaw. Go get the people who are endangering lives daily in school zones by acting like their failure to leave early enough to reach their destination on time somehow makes it acceptable to go zipping past kids at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's always one of the interesting things when you learn where the speed traps are in town, because we are positioned, Radio City is right there for a few of them. And when you live in a neighborhood, you learn where those spots are. And again, like I'm guilty of it. Sometimes my foot gets a little heavy. I might go 5 over. If I notice I'm going 10, I'm like, well, back up on that there, Skip. The Not Mom band can't do that. But I would feel safer if the traffic is going along and you're going 45 on Shaw and everything is fine, whatever, 45, 50, or I don't know what it is. It's when you see people blow through stop signs. It's when you see people cut folks off. It's when you see people that don't care about pedestrians or harassing the very few people that ride a bike in this town. That's the part where I feel like you're actually interjecting and maybe trying to do something that's going to be able to save some folks, or weaving in and out of traffic. They're never around when you need them. So this will give us more of them. Also more DUI checkpoints.
One of the other things that I would love to see is an effort put into preempting sideshows. It's all well and fine to show up after somebody's blocked off the intersection and is doing whatever idiocy they're doing in the intersection. They plan these things. They're on social media talking to each other about when and where and how many people and who's going to block the intersection and who's going to listen to the scanner and who's going to drive their car in a circle real fast. A couple extra bucks to try and get out in front of that. Because I would love to see everybody who's involved in planning or executing a sideshow go to jail and lose their car for a month.
How do you feel about more enforcement of cell phone use? I never notice how many people are on cell phones as much as when I walk. And then you see, it's like this built-in thing where people are sitting at a light and then everybody, you can look down the line. Everybody is looking down at their phone.
Yeah.
And then the light changes and people move.
I don't really care about somebody at a stoplight taking a peek at their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't bother me. You're not hurting anything. If the light turns green and the phone gets dumped in the passenger seat or the phone cup or whatever, and you're back to hands on the wheel and eyes on the road, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's 2022. Okay. If you're one of the last people on earth who's trying to use your phone while your car is in motion, it's not a ticket that you need. You should be dragged out of your vehicle and hosed from head to toe with capsaicin spray.
Oh.
Because you need to understand that that's stupid and dangerous. I see people doing it.
That's what I was going to say. It's not the minority. It's a majority of people. You can see them driving down like they're kind of swerving because they're texting or.
No, if your car's in motion and you're playing with your phone, you deserve whatever they want to give you. Short of capital punishment, if they want to take you to jail for a decade because it's the third time you've been caught playing on your phone in traffic, my God, you are behind the controls of a missile, and you're too dumb to stop playing Candy Crush. Take that person away. Society doesn't need them. But in terms of priorities, if you can peek at your phone and nothing's happening, I don't care about you. That's not a problem.
Well, and some of us use phones for directions and stuff, so you might see that, so that makes sense.
But get the holder.
Yeah.
Get the thing, get it out of your hand.
So this comes from, it's good timing because earlier this year, Quote Wizard ranked Fresno drivers the 7th worst in the nation. Don't worry. Above us were Bakersfield, Sacramento, Baton Rouge, LA, and San Francisco, and San Diego. But here's where you're going to see some of this grant money go. DUI checkpoints and patrols.
Yeah.
That's important. High visibility, distracted driving enforcement operations targeting drivers in violations of the hand-free cell phone. Okay. Enforcement operations focused on the most dangerous driver behaviors that put the safety of people of biking and walking at risk. So you cut off a biker or, I don't know, try and run over somebody with their child. That'll get you. Enforcement operations focused on top violations that cause crashes, speeding, failure to yield, stop sign and red light running, and improper lane changes. Those BMW drivers are going to have to learn how to use their blinker.
Yep. Motorcycle
safety enforcement. I don't feel like I see people unsafe on motorcycles because they know they're going to lose.
You know what? On Friday and Saturday nights, you can hear them buzzing up and down the main thoroughfares, and it's just kids being kids. I'm not worried about the kid on the. Do they still make the GSXR?
I don't know, but I want a Vespa. I have my motorcycle license, but I'm too scared of other drivers.
But I'm not worried about the kid going zip, zip, zip between red lights.
Mm-hmm.
Let's deal with like the drunks and the cell phone abusers and the people who don't understand that, stopping your car on top of a baby carriage is not what those lines on the pavement were for.
Yeah, and some of the money, too, going to go towards officer training and or recertification for field sobriety tests, advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement, and drug recognition expertise.
I think it would be fun, although probably not in any way helpful to the process, if they were to set up the breathalyzer machines so that they play like yakety sax while you're blowing into them, just to confuse. Just let the drunk wonder: am I being put on? Does this end with me getting a pie smashed in my face? Oh nope, those are the handcuffs. Golly, I screwed up.
I had to do one of those once. I was sober, right?
Yeah.
The lady, strangely enough, driving the BMW who didn't have her lights on in the middle of the night, it was the one that got arrested. And they were just like, you have to blow harder. Like, I'm trying to. I can't. It takes a lot of like air. You have to blow continuously.
You have got to have some lung capacity to breathalyze effectively.
I failed the first one because I couldn't blow it hard enough. I was sober.
We have to go to a break here.
KMJ News.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. An ex-boyfriend's been arrested after deputies say he attempted to kidnap his former girlfriend in Kettleman City. Kings County Sheriff's Office responded to the 300 block of King Street on Wednesday. According to the victim, her ex-boyfriend, Demetrio Castro, broke into their home and attempted to kidnap her. She says Castro grabbed her from behind, forcefully took her towards the door. The mother of the woman attempted to stop the accused kidnapper, but fell. Deputies say the man forced the woman outside towards his car. The woman shouting and got the attention of nearby neighbors who witnessed the incident. One neighbor stepped in, called the sheriff's office, and the man was quick to let the woman go and take off in his car. Today, the Avenal Police Department able to track him down. He was handed over to deputies and faces multiple charges. Some good news for the millions of Americans who receive Social Security benefits. They'll see a historic increase in their cost of living adjustment. ABC's Faith Abube has more.
Retired Americans receiving Social Security benefits will see an 8.7% increase in their monthly checks in in 2023. According to the Social Security Administration, that translates into about $140 extra a month for the average recipient starting in January. That is the largest cost of living increase in the program in 4 decades. It comes at a time when inflation is eating into Americans' pockets. But the Social Security Administration's acting commissioner says the cost of living increase and an expected 3% drop in Medicare Part B premiums should, quote, give seniors more peace of mind and breathing room. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Closer to normal temperatures are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. As for this afternoon, unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, all the half and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. On the roads of Fresno on westbound 168 at Ashton, right there at the off-ramp, we got an injury accident. And the accident is actually between Ashland and Shaw on westbound 168 to be exact. And in Visalia, we have an accident that has occurred on eastbound 198 at northbound 99. Right there at the connection there, at the connector, there is a hit-and-run non-injury accident. Then extended road closure in Visalia. This one is on Avenue 424 at Road 64. And finally, in Exeter, a State Route 137 at Road 188, a collision with unknown injuries. Next update, 447. It's Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chichancy Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily? Lead management.
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses. Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
Bright lights and big entertainment return to the big Fresno Fair with the Table Mountain Concert Series. See the concert lineup and buy your tickets now at FresnoFair.com.
It's new, it's huge, and he's there 7 days a week. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Where? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. There is nothing like this.
Call All Britain now for your $129 complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again.
Online at allbritain.com.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Want to say big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order. Just use code RADIO. Offer ends soon. Shop today. Blindster.com.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
It's the afternoon drive with Philip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
I'm trying to find news outlets that aren't too biased.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Philip.
It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ, Skip Echeverria over there. My name's Philip Teresi. We're glad to have you along for the ride. Don't forget, a week from Friday, it is the third afternoon drive, blood drive, right here at Radio City. We're going to be doing it from 2 to 7 p.m. Friday afternoon, southwest corner of Palm and Shaw. Central California Blood Center needs your help. This is a great way to do it, hang out with some of your fellow KMJ listeners, and score some goodies, too. If you want details, go over to KMJnow.com. If you want to get registered ahead of time, book an appointment so you know when you're coming in and you know when you're getting out. KMJnow.com or drivekmj.com. Either way, it'll take you to the form you need to fill out so you can be a part of the third afternoon drive, blood drive, next Friday, the 21st, at Radio City, starting at 2 p.m. As long as we're talking about the cops, let's talk about the cops warning folks about a scam. Once again, caller ID spoofing.
Yeah, Fresno PD is warning the public about scam calls showing the station's phone number. Phony callers are posing to be with the Fresno PD regarding jury dates, warrants, and requesting money or payments.
One, the department would like to remind you that they will never call to request any type of payment. And they advise, if you get a call like this, simply hang up. Just don't engage. I know for a fact that if you have a warrant in Fresno, you can call the Fresno County Sheriff's non-emergency number, identify yourself, and ask to be run for warrants. If you want to know if you've got a warrant, if you want to deal with it, and you don't have the scratch for an attorney, unless you're like Jeffrey Dahmer and you walk up to a cop and say, dude, I think I screwed up and missed a thing in traffic court. I don't want to go to jail today. I want to deal with it. But before I get in the car or go to Big Five to buy ammo, can you run me and see if I've got one so I can get it handled? Again, unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer, they're going to oblige. But in terms of Fresno PD calling you about a jury date, it's the jury thing's through the county. They wouldn't deal with it anyways.
I think so. I had something similar to this happen to me. And it was somebody who was saying that I think were with a sheriff's department down south. The thing is, the way that, and it came through from a phone number that looked legitimate. I think in the moment you would pick up on it, right? But somebody who's a little more panicky, somebody who's worried that they might have somehow broke a rule or has but didn't know for sure, may fall into it. I think that these scammers find out pretty quickly within the first minute or two, right? Whether or not you're going to keep them on the phone and try and figure it out. In my case, the guy kept calling back. And I don't know. Really? At one point, I actually called the police department to get some clarification on it while that guy was on the phone with me because he didn't want to let me hang up and was making all kinds of threats about stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So while I understand what you're saying, like, oh, it doesn't make sense that, PD doesn't handle jury or whatnot, when they're really like trying to ream you and get you scared, I mean, at least for me, I wasn't thinking very logically.
Well, you get defensive, you get your emotions up. I think the last time I had one get me really excited, it turned out to be like one of these bad debt buyers, and they had bought an outstanding debt from like a Texaco card that I had in the 90s. And I'd forgotten the card even existed until this call came through. But they started, the phrase that they used in trying to bully me into giving them my bank account number over the phone, sight unseen, no clue, never heard of these people in my life, was that they were in the process of filing, and I'll never forget it because it's the only place this turn of phrase exists. It's not a thing in the law. They were drafting a 2-party felony complaint, and they were going to have the sheriff's department come and arrest me.
Over this card?
Over this Texaco card that had been written off by Texaco or whatever bank the card was issued through, in 2002. Now, look, I'm not proud of myself for blowing off a credit card when I was 20, but I was a 20-year-old single dad. And if Texaco wanted their $300 that bad, they would have taken me to court sometime before the decade, actually it's 7 years, that they've got to go after unsecured debt. Texaco didn't care. The debt died, except that this weird debt buyer picked it up for a penny or something, right? Well, when they start talking about two-party felony complaint and we're going to have the sheriff come and arrest you, I just said, quick, who's the sheriff of the county of Fresno?
Oh, no, you didn't. You quizzed him?
Well, because it was like, I'm smelling shenanigans here. What's the name of the sheriff? You're drafting a two-party felony complaint. You're going to use the sheriff to enforce it and come and arrest me at my office right now. What's the name of the sheriff in Fresno? And I can hear typing in the background.
Oh, really?
I'll give you a hint. Their initials are MM. Well, sir, if we can't get it through the sheriff's office, then we'll send it through the district attorney's office. Okay. What's the name of the district attorney?
That's because that's what popped up on Google.
In the county of Fresno. And I started laughing at the guy and I said, okay, so here's what I'm hearing. You're trying to collect on a debt that's so far out of date, it's not on my credit report anymore. You're threatening me with legal action that doesn't exist, which is definitely a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Act. And you're threatening me with criminal consequences for a civil matter, which is also a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Act. I think that you need to send me a check for at least the $6,000 I'm going to get if I take you to court and push back on you violating not once but twice the Fair Debt Collection Act. You're a very stupid person and you're very bad at your job. And the guy started swearing and cussing at me and hung up on me. And here's the radio part. If you guys have never been in a radio station, we got these ridiculous multi-line phones. And they're set up in all the studios in the building. And the old ones, those old Telos decks like we had at the Dead Bunny station, and it was a black phone deck with like 2 rows of 16 buttons. And then there was like a keypad and a couple of basic controls at one end. But you could open every line on that deck so that you had like 24 hot phone lines. And then you could dial out on all of the phone lines simultaneously. So if you were calling into a business with a trunked phone line, you could make every phone on the floor ring with this thing. And I had too much time on my hands because I got to work like an hour early. So I just sat there and called their office back.
So you got the, oh, wow. Okay, because it would have been a legitimate number and not a scam number like this one. Okay.
Because they were dirtbags, but they were dirtbags that thought they were under the cover of debt collection. And I spent an hour just calling them back and calling them back and calling them back. And the guys are screaming and swearing and threatening me and all of that. And so when we got to the end of the hour, I actually had to go to work. And I called back one more time and the guy answers the phone and I said, hey, it's Philip Teresi, Fresno, California. Still haven't seen Sheriff Mims or DA Egan drop by with that 2-party felony complaint that's not a thing under the law. Do you guys want my home address so you can serve it to me tonight? And the guy just goes, please don't call here again.
Oh, you beat him into submission.
I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. And especially with all the VoIP stuff, I'm not even sure you can call them back. If you know you've got a dirtbag on the line, waste their time.
Well, and I think the takeaway here, too, is always, 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 no legitimate company is going to ask you for payment by phone.
Not like that.
But, right, because we're hearing this from PD. This was the thing that PG&E was putting out time and time again, that they will not take your payment for PG&E over the phone that way. I don't know that there's any reputable bank that's going to do it either or any of those things. So if somebody calls you saying you owe them money and you owe them money now, get their number and call them back.
And call them back and call them back and call them back and call them back.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up, we have for you, maybe we'll get to some calls here in a second. And At 5, another chance, a final chance today to get one step closer to the $25,000 payoff. This is the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Well, on the roadways right now, we head to the South Valley. We got a problem on Avenue 424 at Road 64. The road is closed, and detours are set up there. Eastbound 198 at northbound 99 connector, a hit-and-run, non-injury accident. There is a report of some backed-up traffic because of it. And Hanford on 10th Avenue at Lansing, there is a collision just being reported. Fresno, westbound 168 between Ashland and Shaw, there is an injury accident there. And on South Polk Avenue at West California, a manhole cover is open, causing a hazard there. Next update, 5:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Rudy Salas received $80,000 in free trips and gifts. One trip was tied to the Chinese Communist Party, financed by a group trying to influence politicians like Salas. Who's Salas working for? David Valadeo is pro-America. Valadeo pushed to stop China from buying American oil reserves. David Valadeo, fighting to cut gas prices. Paid for by Congressional Leadership Fund and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Open enrollment is fast approaching, and Sante Physicians will be hosting our second annual Medicare Health Fair on Monday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our Palm location. Learn more about Medicare plans, all the while enjoying complimentary food trucks and live entertainment featuring the king himself, Jeremy Elvis Pierce. For more info, visit SantePhysicians.com. We hope to see you for the fun and valuable information. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Wendy's Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger is back, featuring Applewood smoked bacon, hot and juicy beef, and a pretzel bun. It puts the EAT in greatness. Try one today, only at Wendy's.
For a limited time, only at participating Wendy's.
Wendy's new French toast sticks are so sweet and crispy, some are saying they're better than Mom's breakfast.
Did you say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than mine?
No, Mom, some people are saying that, not me, even if I am thinking it. Choose Wendy's new home-style French toast sticks.
Participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
How do you make the most of your land? Thomason Tractor Company has been helping farmers like you make the most of their land with the right tractor, like John Deere's 5M series. These chore tractors bring the horsepower and versatility so you can mow, spray, harvest, and handle everything you need to maximize productivity. Check out at Thomason Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years they strive to provide their customers with individual personalized attention. Thomason Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Fall has finally arrived. Let Willow Gardens help prep your winter veggie garden, plus check out their supply of large, mature trees to plant now. They're not just your garden headquarters, they're also your Christmas headquarters, located off Willow and International in Clovis, Willow Gardens will deck your halls with their incredible holiday boutique. Get a jump on your Christmas decor and gifts coming up November 3rd through the 5th at their in-store event for special discounts on most purchases during extended hours with food trucks, refreshments, and a complimentary wine glass. Save the date.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. Coming up at 5 o'clock, another keyword in the $25,000 payoff. We'll also do your trending topics and look at your headlines with Jim Miller and your drive home. Some breaking news. We've been talking a lot about law enforcement in the Valley. This coming to us from the Fresno County Sheriff's Department. Deputies with the Sheriff's Office have arrested a 15-year-old high school student in Tranquility.
Illegal possession of a firearm and making criminal threats are the charges under which he was booked into Fresno County's juvenile hall. Yesterday, folks in the area noticed some social media messages where a Tranquility High student made threats to shoot up the school. The kid was upset after having been recently involved on a fight on campus.
The social media posts were quickly relayed to the school administrators, who then contacted their school resource officer, which is a Fresno County Sheriff's deputy. Wednesday afternoon, deputies went to the home of the alleged suspect and contacted him. They searched the house and located the teenager's backpack, which contained a Tech-9 pistol and a magazine.
So deputies, of course, have seized the gun and arrested the 15-year-old. Golden Plains Unified Schools released the following statement saying, quote, "School safety is a top priority for the district. We appreciate the work of the Fresno County Sheriff's Office and are fully cooperating with their investigation. We applaud the community members who chose to speak up and report the concerning social media messages and encourage others to do the same moving forward. Many lives at Tranquility High School were potentially saved this week."
I like when they put out the stories of somebody getting caught.
Yes.
And here's why. We hear plenty of the ones about the prank calls or the hoax calls and whatnot, and all too often we hear very detailed accounts of when it goes terribly bad. But this is a situation where someone saw something and said something, and then they immediately did what was expected of them and found this kid in possession of a gun.
Yeah.
How a kid gets their hands on this kind of gun, I don't know. But in terms of following the protocol, I don't know how much more clean you get.
No. By the way, if you do know anything about this case, you can contact Fresno County Sheriff's directly at 559-600-3111. Again, 600-3111. Or if you want to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 498-STOP or go to valleycrimestoppers.org. You can remain anonymous, and there's always potential for a cash reward. But if you see something, say something. I mean, at this point, we're all sick of the hoax calls, and I hope that everybody involved in that is apprehended and punished severely. But when you got somebody on social media making threats, a situation like this, I mean, who knows what this kid had in his head?
Right. And the fact that they were able to act on that pretty quickly. And I think that's the important part, too, is, we've talked about violence on campus has increased across the board. I mean, that's been obviously something we've talked about in Fresno Unified, obviously an issue that's happening out there in Golden Plains Unified School District. But the fight doesn't just end when it ends on campus.
Yeah.
You have these continued types of behavior, and in some cases, maybe you have a student who's thinking about some sort of retribution, but glad that they were able to find it and detain him before anything terrible happened.
In the meantime, unfortunately, police in Raleigh, North Carolina are currently responding to an active shooting. At least 3 people have been transported to WakeMed Health and Hospital's Trauma Center in connection with the incident. There is one station, ABC 11, who is reporting that there was an officer killed and a second officer wounded. The condition of other victims it isn't really known at this time, but they're saying that at least 3 victims were taken to that same WakeMed facility. And at this time, they are looking for that shooter. I guess that person's still at large.
Yeah, now I've seen numbers of 1 police officer, 4 or 5 others dead, and as you mentioned, still looking. So we'll keep you posted on that with the latest updates on the way, along with look at your headlines with Jim Miller, your trending topics, and the final chance today to get one step closer to the $25,000 payoff. That's all on the way as we send you home today on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
This is Christina Musan. Solar Negotiators is a household name here in the Central Valley for residential installation. They've got great service, the very best pricing, and options no other company can offer. But did you know they help more than just homeowners? If you've considered solar for your small business or nonprofit, Solar Negotiators can likely save you up to 15% on installation costs. And their maintenance packages keep your business saving long into the future. How do I know this? My family's business, Gar Bennett, went through Solar Negotiators in 2015. Since the system was installed, their company has continued to provide outstanding service by performing inspections, panel cleaning, and active monitoring regularly. Invest in your businesses now and for the long term. Call Solar Negotiators, powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, at 844-OWN-SOLAR. That's 844-OWN-SOLAR. Or visit solarnegotiators.com.
CSLB 1021919.
Hello, this is Mary Jo Jacobson, CEO at San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital. Did you know that falls are the leading cause of a traumatic brain injury and that a concussion is caused when the brain receives trauma from an impact? This trauma may or may not cause you to lose unconsciousness. At San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital, we provide comprehensive and effective inpatient rehabilitation to maximize recovery from physical, cognitive, and psychological impairments caused by a traumatic brain injury or a concussion. Our brain injury rehabilitation team works collaboratively in designing and implementing a treatment program, assessing its outcome, and preparing you and your family for the next phase in the rehabilitation process. Patients can continue their treatment program at one of our 5 outpatient clinics. To learn more about our inpatient brain injury rehabilitation program or our outpatient program, call 559-436-3600 or visit our website at sjvrehab.com. San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital. We're here so you can get back to better.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California. And now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM. KMJ, Fresno. A Cumulus Media Station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. Recent violence in Kern County has canceled all athletic events in some areas this week for safety concerns, and a state senator has asked for extra law enforcement. Delano High School at Wasco High School football game has been canceled due to violence in the area, coming after McFarland's game against Kennedy football was canceled earlier in the week. Cesar Chavez's home football game against Taft Wildcats has been moved to Taft High. The violence has prompted Senator Melissa Hurtado to send a letter to Attorney General Rob Bonta, requesting that he direct the Department of Justice to create a special law enforcement task force to provide immediate assistance to Kern County. The man charged with killing a family of 4 in Merced, including an 8-month-old girl, enters a not guilty plea today. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
48-year-old Jesus Manuel Salgado appearing in Merced County Superior Court. The arraignment continued from Monday after he said he needed more time to hire an attorney. It's unclear who that will be. He returns to court on December 15th. Salgado facing 4 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances, along with arson and possession of a firearm by a felon. The family he's accused of killing, 8-month-old Arui Derry, her parents 27-year-old Jasleen Kaur, 36-year-old Jasdeep Singh, and her uncle, 39-year-old Amandeep Singh. They'll be laid to rest in Turlock on Saturday. Relatives say the funeral is family only, but supporters may gather outside. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Park officials at the Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks working to protect multiple giant sequoia groves from the dangers of wildfires. This emergency action will begin as soon as tomorrow. Crews will work to remove any dense vegetation and other potential fire fuels. Crews focusing on 11 giant sequoia groves. According to the parks, between 2020 and last year, 3 large wildfires destroyed about 13 to 19% of the world's population of giant sequoias. Those 3 fires were the Castle, Windy, and K&P complex fires. Some of those areas will be cleaned up through prescribed burns, a method used for over 50 years. Alex Jones has been ordered by a Connecticut court to pay some $965 million in damages after family members of the victim in the Sandy Hook shooting say he defamed them by spreading his conspiracy theories about the massacre. ABC's Aaron Katersky says Jones might try to evade the payments.
When Alex Jones faced the families in court, he did not apologize.
I've already apologized to the parents over and over again. I don't apologize to you.
Objection.
Don't apologize to you.
Jones skipped the verdict, but mocked it on InfoWars.
Blah, blah. You get $1 million. You get $100 million. You get $50 million.
Jones has claimed he's out of money and asked his audience to flood him with donations. When Jones came to Connecticut to testify, the New York Times reporting he flew on a private jet and rented a villa with a pool and a tennis court.
Jones was also ordered to pay $50 million after a similar ruling in a Texas court this summer. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Closer to normal temperatures are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. As for this afternoon, unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
On southbound 41, just south of Bullard, we have a report of an injury accident right now. Also, northbound 41 at the eastbound 180 connector, there is a non-injury accident there as well. In Madera Road 23 by the Shell station there's a hit and run non-injury accident. And in Visalia on Avenue 424 at Road 64, a road closure is being reported. Our next update, 5:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
SPEND. SPEND. Spend
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson with Wilson's Power Sports, located in Madera, California. My husband Bob and I have been working with Cumulus Media for over 5 years. Within the last 2 months, we started working with Cumulus's digital department and are extremely pleased with their results on Cumulus Boost and search engine marketing.
Find out more. Go to cumulusboost.com. We'll get you a free website audit along with all the details of Boost. Cumulusboost.com. Boost from Cumulus Media.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria. From AM Radio 580.
To the internet, KMJNow.com.
From Warren G. Harding to
Let's Go Brandon.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip.
100 years of KMJ.
News, talk, radio.
5:06, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to hour number 4, the Thursday installment of your afternoon drive. Phone numbers here remain 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. Follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drive KMJ, and watch the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv. Also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join Skip Echeverria back in the KMJ studios with your trending topics at 5 o'clock.
The jury recommended a life sentence for Nicholas Cruz for the Parkland massacre. The jury considered 17 counts for the 17 victims of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in February of 2018. At least one juror found that mitigating factors outweighed the aggravating factors laid forth by the state, meaning the judge is unable to sentence Cruz to death.
The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol voted unanimously to issue a subpoena to former President Donald Trump to question him about his role in the events that led to the violence that consumed Congress. It is still unlikely that the committee will have the chance to question Trump. It is expected he will defy the subpoena, and attempts to enforce one would almost certainly lead to a protracted legal battle.
A Rhode Island couple honeymooning in Barcelona helped save babies from a burning nursery. The newlyweds were touring a park, phone in hand, and taking videos. When they said they noticed a group of women panicking and calling for help, they helped evacuate dozens of children from a building that had caught on fire due to an electrical issue.
As midterms approach for Congressional District 22, Congressman David Valadao will face Democratic candidate Rudy Salas. If you were hoping to see a debate between the two candidates before you cast your vote, don't hold your breath. Salas has backed out of the two debates planned for D22.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta said Wednesday that his office will investigate the redistricting process conducted by the City of Los Angeles and its City Council after leaked audio of a discussion between three members about redrawing boundaries revealed racist and discriminatory remarks.
iHeartMedia's Atlanta division president is no longer employed after video appears to show him using racial slurs and groping the driver of a hired car following a charity event he attended with multiple radio executives back in August of 2021. An employee claims he released the video after going to iHeart Management and their failure to adequately address the situation.
AB 984 has been signed into law, making digital license plates legal in California. The digital plate utilizes an electronic ink style display similar to those found on an e-reader and will open up a slew of customization possibilities for those willing to pay a monthly subscription.
Watch out, bad drivers. Fresno PD has announced it's received a $500,000 grant to increase traffic patrols and conduct traffic safety programs through September of 2023. Efforts will focus on areas including DUI checkpoints, enforcement of hands-free cell phone use, and red light runners.
The Fresno Police Department is warning the public about scam calls coming in, showing the station's phone number. Phony callers are posing to be Fresno PD regarding jury dates, warrants, and requesting money or payments. As a reminder, the department will never call requesting any type of payment. Hang up and do not engage with their requests.
Deputies with the Fresno County Sheriff's Office have arrested a 15-year-old in Tranquility for illegal possession of a firearm and making criminal threats online. The Tranquility High student has been booked into Fresno County's juvenile hall.
And breaking news out of Raleigh, North Carolina, as law enforcement is searching for an active shooter responsible for multiple deaths, including at this point at least one police officer.
To trending topics at 5 o'clock for those stories and a lot more. Get the podcast with Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive or go to KMJnow.com. When you hit the podcast tab, you'll find a bunch of stuff from us as well as content from the entire KMJ team. 10 after 5 now on the Afternoon Drive. Again, that's Skip Echeverria. I'm Philip Teresi. And a new hour means a new national keyword in the 25K payoff, a chance for you to win $100 this hour just by texting that keyword to 95819. If you win the $100, you're in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing, which is brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules can be found at KMJnow.com. And if you want to play, again, don't text and drive, especially now that Fresno PD's after bad drivers. But what is the keyword they're sending to 95819?
This hour, it's spend. SPEND, spend.
Text it to 95819. Good luck. Skip, you much of a fan of The Onion?
I do love The Onion. I haven't seen the print in a while. I used to like getting it when you were in San Francisco. You'd see it kind of around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like something is lost when it's online as opposed to in like an old school paper. But yeah, I used to have a subscription to it, actually.
I don't think I ever got a copy of like the regular monthly output of The Onion. I've got a few of their compilation books. And so for me, they were always a website. And if you're not familiar with it, it has a history of some of the driest, funniest satire. I still think for me, the high watermark, and they wrote a lot of good stuff. They've got a couple of pieces that are really funny, but for me, the high watermark was the issue that they published following 9/11. There is an article included in that edition, which I think was either the 14th or the 24th of September that they published it. There's an article in there titled 9/11 Hijackers Surprised to Find Selves in Hell. And it is one of the most cathartic pieces of satirical writing ever published in any medium. There's nothing funny about 9/11. The way that they describe the experience of the hijackers arriving at the gates of hell and their subsequent welcome, it ain't family friendly, but if you're having a bad day, it'll put a smile on your face. Now, The Onion has filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court of the United States, and it is not a joke. They are protesting on behalf of a man who was arrested after he made fun of his local police department.
Enter Anthony Novak. He was arrested after he created a Facebook page 6 years ago to make fun of his local police department in Parma, Ohio. He made 6 posts on the page and faced a felony charge for violating a law that prohibited using a computer to disrupt or interrupt police functions, this according to court documents.
So a jury did acquit Novak of the charge. He went on to sue the officers who arrested him, saying that his First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated. But the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that there was probable cause to believe that Novak's speech was criminal and the officers were entitled under protection through qualified immunity. So, in other words, they're exempt from civil lawsuits except for when it's clearly established that constitutional or statutory rights were clearly violated.
So in comes The Onion that said in its brief supporting Novak's appeal to the Supreme Court to allow him to sue that they were concerned when they heard that, quote, Americans can be put in jail for poking fun at the government. Indeed, Ohio police officers arrest and prosecute man who made fun of them on Facebook might sound like a headline ripped from the front pages of The Onion, albeit one that's considerably less amusing because its subjects are real, the brief states.
They go on to argue that the business model of satirical humor would be threatened by what happened in Novak's situation. The Onion saying that parody becomes functionally useless without the ability to at least temporarily fool people.
The brief also goes on to state that The Onion regularly criticizes authoritarian countries like Iran and North Korea and domestic presidential administrations. It states that the ruling against allowing Novak's suit to proceed would fail to hold government actors accountable for prosecuting someone for making fun of them.
Yeah. And they say that the Sixth Circuit's ruling suggests that parody is only protected if parodists warn the public in advance that what they're saying isn't true. The Onion pushing back, saying some forms of comedy don't work unless the comedian can tell the joke with a straight face.
They said that parodists intentionally take the rhetorical form of their target and exaggerate or implode it and demonstrate the illogic of the subject there. Announcing in advance that parody is fake would strip the parody of the very thing that makes it function. If this happens, we're not going to have Babylon B.
Yeah, it would also kill Babylon B. Absolutely.
Right. So what an interesting thing to see The Onion come out on the side of trying to argue about free speech here in defense of a man who made a Facebook page. Now, he wasn't pretending to be the cops out pulling people over and doing that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Fresno PD would like anybody doing this to them, but I don't know that they would sue him.
No, Fresno PD is not going to go out and arrest, because you got to understand, like, the posts that he put up, first of all, he starts the page looking very much like the local PD, but he changes the department motto from "We Know Crime," KNOW, to "We Know Crime," like no, NO crime.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 posts that he put up, flagrantly farcical, as described by Reason.com. One was a post announcing a official citywide stay inside and catch up with the family day, during which anyone venturing outside between noon and 9 p.m. would be arrested. Another post describes this is a little rough, pedophile reform event where any participant who visited all of the learning stations, including a No Means No station filled with puzzles and quizzes, would be removed from the sex offender registry and accepted as an honorary officer.
Yeah, they're rough, but they're not illegal.
They had a job notice that said that anyone who passed a 15-question multiple choice definition test followed by a hearing test would be accepted as an officer, but added that the department is, quote, strongly encouraging minorities to not apply.
So again, this isn't going to necessarily fall in line with some people's tastes, but also not illegal.
Not illegal.
Yeah.
And saying these people should be protected under qualified immunity when they pretty nakedly violated his First Amendment rights. I'm pleased to see The Onion step up on behalf of this kid. And at the same time, guys, I'm going to post the link to the story so you can get the full picture. I'm also going to post a link to the amicus brief in full, because it is written by the guys from The Onion. This was not touched by a lawyer.
And just to read you some headlines from The Onion today. This Southwestern casserole is so good, it will be the only thing your child remembers about you after you die. Newly discovered documents suggest founding fathers intended America to be the first in a trilogy of countries. And Jordan Peterson disgusted by society celebrating 2,560-pound Minnesota pumpkin, which is what we talked about yesterday.
On the roadways this afternoon at Fresno, westbound State Route 180 at the 99, got a non-injury accident there. Also southbound 41 at Bullard, between Bullard and Shaw, there is a non-injury accident, but it is having a little bit of an effect on southbound 41 traffic flow. Our next update, 5:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This hour of KMJ's Afternoon Drive is brought to you by A&E Pressure Washers, sales and service for anything and everything on your wash pad.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
Did you know there's a conservative advocacy and benefits organization with over 2 million members and counting? It's AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Here are 3 reasons why you should consider joining AMAC right now. First, AMAC saves you money from discounts on travel and lodging, cell phones and plans, access to insurance products, and more. Joining AMAC is a powerful tool against inflation. Second, with a bi-monthly magazine, daily web content, podcasts with America's thought leaders, and an app that delivers insightful coverage of the issues that matter most. AMAC is a trusted source of information. And third, the reason why people say it's their favorite is that AMAC fights for your conservative values on Capitol Hill. With more than 2 million members, AMAC is a voice that cannot be ignored, working tirelessly to preserve the freedoms secured by our Constitution. Go to amac.us/liberty and join today. That's amac.us/liberty. amac.us/liberty.
Finally, it's here. Lou Rodman's Patio Bar Stool and Amish Emporium. Now, this is brand new. It's going to take Lou a little time to get it together, like the patio. The patio gear is not here yet, but it will be soon. But Lou Rodman's Patio Bar Stool and Amish Emporium, very easy to find, right next to Fashion Furniture across the street from Lowe's. Lou's new business is huge, with a very special emphasis on the Amish. You are really going to be blown away. Lou carries multiple lines of Amish furniture for every single room in your house. Buy it. Take it with you right now. Or special orders in the size, the color, the type of wood, handcrafted furniture design that will expressly be yours and no one else's. And he will beat any price. Lou Rodman's Patio, Bar Stool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's, 7 days a week. The guy never takes a break. You ain't seen nothing like it.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. A reminder that if you haven't done it yet, you need to text the word SPEND, 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 to 95819. You could win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Details at KMJnow.com. Official rules there. And a thank you again to Chick-Chansey Gold Resort and Casino for the assist on that one. John Harshman of Auberry, one of our latest winners. So be like John. Listen to win. Text now.
A New York woman has been arrested after allowing her 10-year-old son to get a apparently large tattoo on his arm. Artwork that was spotted when he popped into the school's nurse's office to see if she would set him up with some Vaseline to keep that fresh ink moist.
Okay, so at one point in my life, I was working up in Merced School District, or Merced County, and I think it was the Atwater High School had a sign in the nurse's office that said, "We do not have supplies for your piercings and tattoos," because kids were coming in all the time for it.
Oh, wow.
Right? So in this case, though, it was spotted by the school employee. Crystal Thomas, age 33, was arrested for endangering the welfare of a child. She was booked on a misdemeanor charge and released from custody after the appearance. And the son placed in the custody of CPS officials.
Yeah, according to police, the boy received the tattoo, his name in block letters large enough that if he's going to hide it, he's going to have to wear long sleeves. They were inside a hotel room where Thomas and her 2 kids have been living. The tattoo artist got permission from mom, and this is a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
By the way, the cops say the tattoo artist is a person of interest. That guy could face charges, including tattooing a minor and endangering the welfare of a child.
Yeah. So there was like a hypothetical once they brought up in one of my ethics classes when we were talking about like mandated reporting and stuff.
Sure.
Of if, and again, I don't know that this was a real case or whatever, and we kicked it back and forth, and I don't remember how the conversation went, but the hypothetical is parents did a small heart tattoo on their baby's bottom.
Oh, like a Care Bear thing.
Yeah. Like, and because this kid, because the parents were tattoo artists or whatever, they might have been demonizing the profession. I don't remember what my professor was doing, but anyway. But the question was, do you have to report that every time, like if the kid goes to daycare, right?
Yeah.
Because there was this question about reporting abuse. And when we think about tattoos, obviously those are lifelong things, right? And I would definitely not recommend kids do that. Although there are some cultures where this is a part of kind of their coming up process.
Sure.
But if we're getting to like body consent and stuff like that, should we be doing things like ear piercings or circumcisions? I'm just saying, like.
I think the ear piercing is a more relevant thing because while I agree that circumcision is you're permanently altering that person's body when you do it, that's a long established cultural and hygienic thing that some parents choose to do, and some people have to deal with at the bris, and some people simply never have done. Piercing a child's ears. How many people take little baby girl and go get her ears pierced so she can wear those studs?
Yeah, so you can tell it, oh, it's a baby girl, and they won't mess with it, right? Mine weren't done when I was a baby. They're lopsided. On my child, my daughter, I waited till she was old enough to decide if she wanted to do it.
Yeah, but like my youngest wanted the ears done. Oh my God, 7 years old, 8 years old, something.
Yeah,
like that.
I think we were like around the same age.
Yeah.
So it's obviously I'm not on board with a giant tattoo on a kid's arm, although it is happening younger and younger. This is the youngest I've seen, but I mean, I worked with like 14, 15-year-olds that had tattoos.
Yeah, I knew a couple of kids in school that had ink, but they had ink they could hide under a T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, and this is going to be really weird because you see it on a little 10-year-old's arm. I guess at least he got his name. I have a question for you because we both have like kids in high school. What about like facial piercings and stuff? Because my understanding was always you had to be 18 for those things, except for ears because that was kind of culturally accepted. But now we're seeing people with like nose piercings, eyebrows, tongue, whatever, lip. It's all changed.
No, I've got a 14-year-old high school sophomore with the septum piercing, which for those of you that don't know, that's the bull ring in the nose.
Oh no, that hurts.
Apparently not as much as a straight nostril piercing.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, like shooting the nostril somehow it's either more prone to infection or I don't know.
But the point being that's normalized now. Like kids with facial piercings is more normalized than like I was in my early 30s when I got my nose pierced.
Yeah, facial piercing was pretty unremarkable when I was in high school. And like I said, I knew a couple of kids who had ink, but they were definitely older, like old enough to go in and talk a cousin or somebody who had a tattoo gun into doing it.
That's the problem. You can buy them online now, and so people are doing them that shouldn't be.
I don't know, man. I mean, we talk about, it's permanent, it's permanent, it's permanent. There's lots of things that we do that are permanent. There's lots of things that society accepts that are life-altering changes to a human being. And I have a very hard time saying that a kid who's old enough to operate a motor vehicle, for instance, is somehow, or old enough to donate blood, is somehow not old enough to say, yeah, I want to get my mom's name tattooed over my heart. Or, yeah, I want to get the Foo Fighters logo on my shoulder blade or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like, if you're a responsible parent and your kid's gunning for ink, steer them away from the job stoppers. Don't let them get a Cubs tattoo on their forehead.
Yeah, don't let them start on the neck and hands. The rule in our house is this. My guess is I'm not going to find, well, first of all, my kids probably won't want any before 18, but in any reputable shop I'm going to go to is going to follow the rules. But the rule in my house with my kids is I will take you to get the first one.
Yeah, well, and that's been with the kiddo. All the piercings, we've just taken him to a good piercing shop. But at this point, my kid's talking about wanting to get tattoos and not even going to be 15 till November. Of course, we're saying no right now, but I have told the kid, think about it. order screen transfers that you can wear online and get used to it, because then you'll really know. If you spend 3 years wearing this and reapplying this and you still love it, it's probably cool.
Well, that, and just know this is somebody who lied to get her first one. Eventually, you'll cover up those first ones with something else that's cooler.
And not an ex-boyfriend's name.
Hey, I've never had a name.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Possible motive behind a parlor homicide that occurred October the 1st. Investigation stems from an incident that resulted in the arrest of 70-year-old Edmundo Martinez of Parler. Police there responded to the Parler Plaza apartments where they found a man on the ground suffering from gunshot wounds. The man, later identified as 45-year-old Jose Palafox Jr. of Parler, died. An investigation found Martinez's bike, which was valued at $700, was stolen on September 30th. Martinez received information that Palafox Jr. stole his bike. He then went to Palafox's home to retrieve it. Martinez saw Palafox Jr. walking on the street, then confronted him about the bike, demanding he return it. Palafox Jr. denied having the bike. He allegedly shot Martinez multiple times. It's the news that the Army of Volunteer Searchers didn't want to hear. The toddler who disappeared from his grandmother's home in Chatham County, Georgia last week, presumed dead. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan with more.
Just as shocking as the overnight announcement that Quentin Simon has most likely died is the revelation that his own mother, Leilani Simon, is the suspect. Quentin's babysitter, Diana McCarta, was on Facebook Live overnight.
We can't believe it. Quentin is gone. It's, not the outcome we wanted.
McCarta had previously called Georgia's Division of Family and Children's Services concerned for the young boy's welfare. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Closer to normal temperatures are expected in the later part of the weekend, with low 80s expected on Sunday and Monday. As for this afternoon, unseasonably warm yet again across the Central Valley. Highs are in the mid to upper 80s today. 80 is the normal high in Fresno. Overnight lows are in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. A couple of problems still going on in Fresno. Westbound 180 to northbound 99, 9-injury accident there. And southbound 41, south of Bullard. And before you get to Shaw, there is a non-injury accident there as well. Next update, 547. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Concrete blocks are being used to cover electrical access panels to prevent copper thieves from robbing you blind. Check them out online at bestconcreteblocks.com.
Hi folks, Roger Evans here with a few thoughts about Jack Hanna. More than our spokesman, Jack was a Christian. Enthusiastic, kind, quick to help or advise, and he filled a void when we lost Dale. When he said he was riding for the Evans brand, he meant it. So we will strive to honor his legacy and keep running Evans Feed the same way that made Jack proud to represent us. Big boots to fill. Pretty sure he and Dale are singing the jingle together right now. This is Roger Evans for all of us at Evans Feed in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
Rudy Salas received $80,000 in free trips and gifts. One trip was tied to the Chinese Communist Party, financed by a group trying to influence politicians like Salas. Who's Salas working for? David Valadeo is pro-America. Valadeo pushed to stop China from buying American oil reserves. David Valadeo, fighting to cut gas prices. Paid for by Congressional Leadership Fund and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation. And they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
With so many used car lots, big and small, how do you know the difference? Take a look at Central Valley Fleet. Hand-picked pre-owned vehicles priced right and backed by Scott and Katie Beal, who've always done you right. SUVs to muscle cars to lifted trucks and the best-selling passenger vehicles, Central Valley Fleet has yours. And unlike any other pre-owned vehicle center in the valley, even the national guys, Central Valley Fleet has an on-site service center to back up your vehicle. Central Valley Fleet on West Shaw, next to Harley-Davidson, across from Costco.
Open enrollment is fast approaching, and Sante Physicians will be hosting our second annual Medicare Health Fair on Monday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our Palm location. Learn more about Medicare plans, all the while enjoying complimentary food trucks and live entertainment featuring the king himself, Jeremy Elvis Pierce. For more info, visit SantePhysicians.com. We hope to see you for the fun and valuable information. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Live, local, on it. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
KMJ.
And always streaming at KMJNow.com. It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ.
It's definitely number one on my dial.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Philip.
Rolling through hour 4 of your Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ, and we are just over a week away from the third Afternoon Drive blood drive at Radio City next Friday, 1 week from tomorrow. You're invited to join us at the southwest corner of Palm and Shaw from 2 until 7 p.m. The Central California Blood Center will be at the KMJ studios accepting your donations. If you want to get registered, set an appointment ahead of time, go to KMJNow.com or drivekmj.com. We've also got the link up on social media. But Valley people need Valley blood, and that starts with you, as in you, not some nebulous generalized version of an imaginary platonic ideal out there. I mean, you, the guy who's got this voice growling at him out of the 6x9 by your ankle. We need you to show up and donate whatever your blood type is. Go to donateblood.org if you want to make an appointment, especially if you've got questions. If you haven't donated in a while, donateblood.org has the FAQ to help you figure out what you got to do to join us next Friday at Radio City.
Yeah, and if you go to the link, you can sign up for a specific time if that would be easier for you. They start at 2 o'clock and then go on the half hour and the hour from there. But they will take walk-ins. The pre-registration helps, though, for us to kind of get an idea.
I have heard, and I'm not sure if it's true, but there is a rumor that there's going to be a special donor shirt.
That's the rumor. We'll have that all confirmed. Also, this is a part, I got an update in my email. If you've been donating blood, and I think you have to do like 3 donations or whatever, it gets you into that thing for to meet Aaron Judge.
Yes.
And so I have to do one more by the deadline, which I'm signed up for a 6:30 appointment that day.
Yeah.
And then fingers crossed I'll win the big one and go see a guy who plays baseball or something. I mean, it's great because he's like the home run champion. But that's another cool thing that's in the mix as well.
That's pretty cool.
Plus, we'll be around, and it's for a great cause, and it's a good time of year to do it. You'll be around other good people outside doing it. So
this is definitely one of the better ways to donate. So head over to KMJNow.com or drivekmj.com. Get registered and join us a week from Friday for the Afternoon Drive blood drive. I've got a little piece of audio here that sets us up for what we are going to discuss now as a debate between candidates for the mayor of Los Angeles takes an interesting turn.
And this question goes for the both of you. The next mayor of Los Angeles will be either an African-American woman or a white man.
I'm Italian.
Italian-American.
Thank you. That's Latin. Thank you.
Latin.
an African American woman or a white man? I'm Italian. This is an interesting question that every Italian I know has eventually had to, at some point, decide which side of the debate they're on. And it's funny because it feels like an argument that should have happened at Ellis Island sometime between the Great War and number 2. Are Italians white?
Well, are Spanish white? Because Spanish are considered white and Italians too.
Latin.
But, well, Spanish Spaniards. Spanish who came over, and then you have mixing with indigenous folks. Different, because this is something that's come up for me when I was younger, because you fill this stuff out and I'm like, well, I'm Basque.
Yeah.
What's Basque? Basque is other, right?
What do Basque people consider themselves to be, like Hispanic Latino?
No,
or?
because we're not of that descent. It's Western European, so Spain falls into white.
Yeah, well, yeah,
right. But
they're held apart. See, I think that when people think of white, boy, I hope you'll understand I'm using the word as a descriptive. People think Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyes, Nordic people.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Scandinavian, right? But you also get it, and this is where it gets really interesting, because as you get closer into like Eastern Europe and over into Asia, you know, like that's the interesting thing about it.
Are Russians white? I mean, we literally use the word Caucasian as a replacement for white people, right? And Caucasian as in Caucasus Mountains as in Eastern European.
So a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa.
So like Egyptians.
I guess so. See, but then I wouldn't have... term usually describe people of European ancestral origins who identify or are identified as white, sometimes called European in terms of racial classifications, a group known as Caucasian.
But wouldn't Italians be Mediterranean like Greeks and Turks?
No, this is saying, according to what I'm seeing here, Caucasian majority, no, those are Caucasian majority countries.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that Italy is far enough over in Eastern Europe. You're certainly not far enough over to be like considered Middle Eastern.
No.
Yeah, but I do. It's like the billionaire guy couldn't just stand there for a minute and be like, "Yeah, I'm running against a black lady. I'm Italian." Yes, we know, Rick Caruso.
We parse most other broad colorist designations pretty finely. About the only two groups that you don't get to like a country of origin or a specific ethnic descriptor are white Europeans, especially like Scandinavian or Anglo extraction. And black folks. There's generally speaking, there's kind of this assumption that if you're a black person in America, you are so-called African American, and then if you happen to be like Dominican or Jamaican or something like that, you'll clarify at that point. But when you get to like Latinos, Hispanics, you hear Nicaraguan, Honduran, Guatemalan, Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, and there's this very clear, very proud connection to that specific tradition. I've never bothered to correct somebody who assumes that I'm of German extraction rather than majority English.
Well, and this is where I think sometimes it's getting really interesting as we're getting away from the I don't see color argument. We're starting to see people will talk about their ethnic ties and their lineage, right? So he got corrected to say an Italian American, then he said he's Latin. So now we're going all the way back to like Latin.
Now, I got to ask you though, and I'm in kind of a funny space on this because my family name is Teresi.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by a man who was raised in an Italian-Portuguese household. I do not have any Italian blood in me. My father was adopted. And yet, despite the fact that I don't look Italian, I don't even look Northern Italian, I look Anglo-Saxon. I have been hearing people talk about Italians as a group apart my entire life. And I grew up in California in the 80s. Never mind the Italians from the East Coast that were effectively ghettoized, especially after the Second World War. Italians were not treated as a part of the community.
Well, and that's the interesting thing when we go back into American history, which is why it's important, I think, to talk about American history in its whole, because you've seen Italians treated differently, you've seen Irish treated differently.
Yeah, but they deserve it.
How dare you? And then this actually comes up in the argument that's all kind of around Nuri Martinez that we've been talking about LA, because she, as a Hispanic woman, is talking smack on Oaxacans, right? And then in this situation, the article references that Sicilians are oftentimes treated different than folks from the north.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, getting into comparisons, I talk about being Basque, and Basque people are Basque people, but don't confuse a Spanish Basque with a French Basque. Like, everybody wants to have the label. At the end of the day, I think it's cool, like, know where you're from if you do. But like, I don't know what the right answer is to this. But this guy was clearly just mad that she called him a white man. I mean, he was mad.
Considering this guy's age, because this guy's not a kid. Now, he himself did not fight in World War II, but it's plausible that his dad did. That's it. It's a single generation to him from being treated as completely apart from white society because he's Italian. If you're one generation out for that, or you grew up with that, yeah, I think that he's entitled to say, man, don't pigeonhole me over here. If you don't know enough about my background, chill out. I'm Italian.
Well, what's kind of funny about this, too, is that this is a Democrat arguing, by the way. So when we get into all this kind of stuff,
well, of course
right?
It is. If it's going to be racial, it's going to be Democrat.
But I think that when you get into this as a billionaire, who serves as a board of trustee for the University of Southern California, he's the president of the Los Angeles Police Commission and a member of the Board of Water and Power commissioners. I don't think that Mr. Caruso's struggling. So if that intro hurt his feelings, that's okay.
All I can say is...
Oh, man, now he's a Democrat. He was nonpartisan, and then he was a Republican. This guy's all over the place.
Come on. You know the line. You found paradise in America. He found a good trade, made a good living.
I don't know what that's from.
It's from The Godfather.
Final check of traffic, and Clinton Avenue between Marty and Valentine is closed. They're doing some improvements, and they are going to have, and do have right now, detours set up. This is going to be happening for another week or so, so keep away from Clinton Avenue between Marty and Valentine. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California, and now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino, because you deserve the best.
This is your Good Feet Store game day reminder. Your Bulldogs square off with San Jose State on Saturday. So grab your Good Feet arch supports, get to Valley Children's Stadium, and cheer on your Bulldogs. The Good Feet Store is the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
Central Valley farmers know that fall is the time to tend to fields after harvest. Kerman's Best Compost from Mid-Valley Disposal is the perfect solution to return nutrients to the soil and will also help with water retention. Kerman's Best Compost is certified organic and locally made, which means savings on transportation costs. Schedule delivery direct to your farm or come to Kerman to load up yourself. We all know fertilizer costs are through the roof. Choose Kerman's Best Compost, the more sustainable and economic option. For more information, visit midvalleydisposal.com.
Supercharge your whole family's protection against COVID-19. Stop by the Big Fresno Fair on October 13th and 14th for free prizes and fun facts about vaccines and boosters. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
For a long time now, you've heard me talk about the Glass Shop in Visalia. What a great place this is. And it's well represented all through my home. Windows, mirrors, screen doors, yeah. And they're big shining stars, Anlin Windows. You've heard me brag about Anlin Windows warranty. It's a double warranty, and I'm going to brag again. Your Anlin Windows have a double lifetime warranty, which means when you sell your home, that warranty goes to the new owner as well. They're locally owned and manufactured out in Clovis. Their quality control is tip-top, bar none, better than anybody else. And that's why the Glass Shop swears by them. Even Scott, he's the window wizard I tell you about. He likes them so much, he put them in his own home. What does that tell you? Let's say you only need 1 or 2 windows. The Glass Shop will still come to your house and take care of you. Practically every other window place is not going to bother for 1 or 2 windows, but the Glass Shop will. Click theglassshop.com. Isn't that easy? Theglassshop.com. They're in Visalia, but if you're hearing my voice, they're going to take care of you wherever you are. The Glass Shop in Anlin Windows. It doesn't get any better. Who says so? I say so.
In Sacramento, a pattern of political corruption, scandals, pay-to-play schemes, and Rudy Salas is cashing in. Rudy Salas backed a plan to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon, costing us more every time we fill up the tank. Salas even voted against temporary gas tax relief for families. His reward? A lavish spring break trip from a group that supports higher gas prices. In another case, Salas took thousands from powerful drug companies and then voted to increase the cost of life-saving drugs cancer patients need. Salas even took a luxury vacation to China that was paid for by a group that promotes the Chinese Communist agenda. Corruption, scandal, pay to play. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Valadeo for Congress, authorized by David Valadeo.
We really like the fact that Personal Express Insurance is local. We know them all personally.
That face-to-face, one-on-one personal attention is just another reason why people every day become Personal Express Insurance customers.
We've been very happy, very satisfied with the discount rate that they give to us.
Personal Express Insurance has been known for their great rates, but their customers come with them and stay with them for what they like to call their local advantage.
I have had insurance companies call me and they tell me they can beat Personal Express Insurance. And when I tell them what I'm paying for the insurance, they tell me we cannot beat that.
With offices in Fresno, in the Fig Garden Village, in Clovis in the Buchanan Crossroads, and in Visalia in the Visalia Pavilion. Or go to expressinsurance.com for a fast, free quote.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Peralta, President of Personal Express Insurance. Everyone, please stay safe and stay healthy.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
And just like that, another fantastic edition of the Afternoon Drive on KMJ is coming to a close. If you missed any part of it, you can get the podcast at kmjnow.com. I'm Skip. That's Philip.
And we're going to finish with some music tonight, though not just Wigwam playing all the way through here. Queen has unearthed a new track, Face It Alone. Previously unused vocals recorded by Freddie Mercury, and the boys got together to prepare the music. They sat down with the producers after finding the original masters from when they recorded the 89 album, The Miracle. This will be part of an expanded 8-CD collector's edition of the album coming out on November 18th. There's a handful of unpublished pieces of music, but this is the first new song from Queen with Freddie Mercury on vocals in a very long time. We're going to go.
Yeah, we'll
Enjoy
leave
the
you with
music.
this. Enjoy, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. I'll be in with Blake. It's been the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Bye.
When something so near
and dear to life explodes inside. You feel your soul is set on fire. When something so deep and so far and wide falls down beside, your cries can be heard